Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3 number 43. Very early Click R3 this time. Not at all late because it's at 9:15 and we're here at 9:08. 7 minutes early. See how that works?
It's called moving the goalpost.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to do it. How's it going, Ryan?
I'm doing good, John. How are you doing?
Good. Can't complain. So it's been a fun couple of weeks. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of games coming out, playing a lot of games. So looking forward to a lot of games. Yeah. Oh yeah. Played a lot of Crimson Desert. So I'm having a good time now. I've gotten past the initial like friction period, which was like the first 8 hours of the game.
Yeah. So that's because I knew you were playing it, so I'm curious where you fall on it right now.
I'm past the 30-hour mark at this time. And I enjoy it a lot more right now than I did when I first started. It's the world opened up. My character's getting more powerful, which I think has something to do with that. I found a cool sword that when I swing with like heavy swing, crows fly out of the sword and hit enemies around me too. And it's starting to look really cool when things are happening. But I will tell you this is a game where I'm starting to see the limitations of this generation of the PS5. I'm starting to see it. I am.
Is it a PS5 thing or is it an optimization thing?
I think it's a PS5 thing because I see that this is one of the games where there is I think a massive difference between even a mid-range PC and the PS5. Like a mid-range, what we consider a mid-range right now, where it might be like a 5060 or 5070 or something like that. Not like the 5090 but a decent enough PC that people are playing games on. I'm seeing people post their screenshots online and videos, and I'm like, man, the PS5, it's struggling, man. I think it's CPU bound in some cases. There was one boss fight I did. The frame rate shocked me on the PS5 Pro. I mean, this thing might have been 10 frames a second.
Yeah, that's bad.
I was
real bad.
Shocked at what I was seeing. I was like, wow, really? But I looked around, there were reflections all over the place on the ground because this game does use ray tracing just outright by its engine. So it's always on. And as I'm fighting, there's just a lot of like water and stuff all around you. So there's just reflections everywhere. I'm like, man, this is a game where I'm going, okay, that PS6 version might be kind of interesting when they do it.
Well, I was thinking too, like, I feel like this kind of game where if you're not 100% sold on it, it's just the best idea in the world to sort of sit back and let them, one, fix it, and two, potentially play it on a PlayStation 6. Because that's like what I keep seeing is, I can't stand the controls. I can't stand the way the game feels. And I guess that recent like hot fix, that deployed patch, like at least made the gameplay feel a little bit more like snappy and responsive.
More responsive. They lowered the input latency on the control, which was I noticed it immediately. It's not like when I go to swing a sword in the game, you press R1 on the PlayStation 5, and instead of tapping it, it's kind of like a press and hold situation. Because it takes a while for the game to register the button press and then actually commit to it. But after the patch, it was more likely for me to be able to just tap R1 and then go into a combo and it actually count it. Jumping as well. And the controls are weird because they're stacking controls on top of controls. So the pickup button and the jump button are the same button. So like you end up jumping a lot in the game by accident when you're trying to pick something up. Because you also have to look around and like it has to highlight on your cue. But there are some really, really cool things to the game that do keep me playing. And it's going by. So I'm like chapter 7 right now. I think someone said there was 15 or 16 chapters. So I think I'm getting close to the halfway mark in this game. Like people say this game is 200 some odd hours, maybe to do everything. I'm doing a pretty good job, I think, staying on like the mainline track for this game. But I occasionally do veer off and go, okay, what is over there? It does try to pull your attention a lot in the game. I will say that. So if you're someone who gets lost, as in like just wanders off in a game in a big open, like this is a game where you will probably be 80 hours in and just completing chapter 3 or something, or chapter 4. Well, chapter 4, because chapter 3 you get a base and they start throwing in mechanics of you can send your people that you collect in your base away to do their own quests. And apparently if you send them off to do a quest and then you go to where they're supposed to be, they will actually be there doing the quest. Like you'll just go see them. Like, let's say they have to go take down a bunch of bandits or something that are annoying, like a farm somewhere. If you go there in the time that it's all happening, you will see them do it. Which is interesting that all that happens in the world away from you, even if you're not looking at it.
I feel like that's got to be like a neat development trick or something, like based on player proximity, they spawn the dude in, and then then like it's sort of mid combat or something like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so the controls take some getting used to. They keep doing a bunch of mechanics, but there's something to the discovery in this game that I think is it's it's done. It kind of reminds me a bit of like a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of thing. You could say Ghost of Yote, where you want to keep exploring the world and finding new things for your character, or even just the puzzles are kind of weird though. They're very obtuse at times, but when it all comes together and it clicks, it's like doing one of the puzzles kind of makes you feel like when you beat a Souls boss. It's like, oh, finally it's over. And then you get, a reward for it. It's like, I did it. I accomplished it.
If you feel like Albert Einstein after you walk away solving it.
Yeah. So I probably still have like another 40 hours in the game minimum. So also the trophies, my gosh, I 30 hours, I have 2 trophies unlocked, and the trophies are like the trophies are a puzzle on their own. Like there's 35 trophies, and it's like each one they tell you a riddle. Like if you look up the list, it's so funny.
I do remember the list, and I really can't stand when we got to make the fucking list itself a problem. Like just tell me what to do.
Yeah, that's how I am. Like I looked at it, I said, well,
wow. Yeah, I just looked up the guide. Power Picks has one 7 out of 10 difficulty, 300 plus hours.
Yeah,
300 plus.
This probably won't be a platinum.
Yeah. Step 1, unfog map, activate fast travel, upgrade gear, find sealed abyss artifacts. And then step 2, finish story and complete challenges. Oh, there's only 2 steps, but it's just, there's a lot.
At least I'll get a trophy for beating the game, and it's like that on its own for people is probably going to be big. Some people said they're at 130 hours in, they haven't beaten the game yet. So
I would think that's this kind of game. You could just keep going and going and going and pretty much ignore the story, because I've also heard it's just kind of like an afterthought, basically.
It is funny. I kind of view it as, so you get different chapters. I view it like a sitcom where each one's an episode and they don't actually tie together, but sometimes very loosely, because you'll have a new character that's introduced to the sitcom and they're just kind of there, and occasionally they'll participate, but it's not like a running narrative that is straightforward, point A to start, point B to end. No, it's just each one's like its own little story, own little episode of Seinfeld or something.
What happened with this 120 hertz issue? People are saying if you play it on a 120 hertz display and have that active with, I think, VSync, the game actually looks a lot muddier. Like, it doesn't look that good.
It's something to do with HDRs. I don't know. It looks fine on my OLED here. I don't know. I've jumped around between monitor and base PS5 and the PS5 Pro. PS5 Pro looks good. It's kind of like that, hey, it's performance mode with quality look, which is great because most times it's, uncapped, close to 60 frames until you get into more demanding areas like the city, or like if you're running around a town and there's a bunch of NPCs, or if there's a bunch of enemies on screen, it does start to tank. But I really do think it just seems like it's the older CPU that's just struggling.
Well, that's the other thing too. PS5 Pros, it's the same damn CPU, just clocked a little bit higher. So the game's going to be CPU bound anyway.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Now I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'm starting to see the vision for the PSX only because we'll have a substantial CPU leap, it seems.
Yeah, well, that's probably what it needs, if anything. There's also an AI controversy with that game. Yeah, AI art showing up in the game. They had to release a comment, say, "Oh, our bad. We didn't mean to put that in there. It's supposed to be taken out."
That's it. That's what you got to do. You got to call it plead the 33rd, because that's what Expedition 33 did, and they still won Game of the Year. That if I got caught, if I was in a studio and they were like, "Yo, we this AI stuff. What do we do?" It's an asset in development, and we accidentally left it there. Plead the 33rd. That's what they're all going to do.
Plead the 33rd. I will say, but the thing is though, even if they like, oh yeah, our bad, we'll take it out. You still got to disclose that, which they didn't do.
That's the issue with Steam. That's the big problem is Steam has like a whole policy on that. But yeah. I guess if they take it out and it gets reevaluated and everything looks good, I guess they don't need it then. But yeah, I mean, a game like this size, you gotta know what's in your game if you're gonna submit it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like insurmountable to keep track of like everything in the game and what's going on. Go ahead, John. Highlight that comment. I know you're looking at it.
Oh yeah, Ryan beat Rebirth. Yet.
I knew it. I knew what you were looking at.
I can't beat You can't let me beat Crimson Desert before you beat Rebirth.
Listen, Bobo. I'm in it now. I'm back in.
Okay.
I'm back in.
Okay. You're back in.
I've learned something about myself though, John. I've learned something. I can't just do the main quest. I just can't do it. It's like a physical impossibility for me. I can't do it. I loaded up my save again. Took me a little bit to get like to okay, that this is how I can do my skills again. Let me look at my materials, see what I was doing. A game that big, it's like such a pain in the ass, like to like relearn it, and you're like already well 3/4 in. But I got in, and I'm like, oh that shit, that's right. I didn't finish this proto relic. I didn't fucking do this. I had to start doing them again. So. But I'm there. I'm near the end, so it's gonna.
Oh, you are okay.
Yeah. I'm in Nibelheim, so I know I'm close.
You're getting there. All right, good.
You got to forgive me. I've already like done everything up to this point. I can't just main quest it. I just can't.
Okay, that's understandable. But we'll got to get it done before the trailer drops. That's all.
That's fine. I got plenty of time. My goal is before Soras, and I think I can easily do that.
Okay, yeah. But a month from now, it'll be done.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. In relevant Final Fantasy news, John, we could point this out. The story from Games Radar, where Final Fantasy's director, Naoki Yoshida, said that young players have not had time to connect with the franchise because release intervals are so far apart. And then our friend Matt Piscatella chimed in on Blue Sky with some data from Circana tracking sales data in the US and player data. And he said 62% of US players for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were 35 and older. It goes up to 77% if the age minimum is set to over 30. You're old if you play Final Fantasy. You're old.
Yeah, this is something we brought up though back when. It's funny now looking at it. Remember when 16 came out, 3 million in a week. People were like, I don't know, Final Fantasy, that seems kind of. Now we look around and 3 million sold is celebrated quite a bit. But it's Final Fantasy, and you kind of expect, especially after 15, like big numbers to come out from it. That was a concern that was pitched is Final Fantasy just falling off a bit because the generation coming up doesn't really know Final Fantasy that well. Is that a thing? And then also 16, especially for people who got into it, you could even say somewhat recently, it looks a lot different than 15. Different tone, everything. But that is a fair point that we don't get the same release cadence anymore, because if you look at, we'll say that PS1, even into the early PS2 era, it was Final Fantasy VII in 1997. You jump forward less than 2 years, I think, to Final Fantasy VIII in 99. Then you go 1 year to 9. So 8 to 9, that was in 2000. And then you go one more year for 10 in 2001.
Yeah.
We were rolling. We were getting Final Fantasies all over the place. From 1997 to 2001, we had 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I know 8 is, people are like, on 8, but dude, 7, 9, and 10 in the span of half a decade is insane.
Yeah. Well, it's like, even if with not evaluating just Final Fantasy in a vacuum, it's like everything. Dude, we got multiple entries in like all these different properties, and technically, you've got like 2 generations now coming in. One that's really young, one that's kind of in their early adult years, basically. They just didn't get this stuff. They got the forever free to play games. So it's I always assumed that a lot of these games nowadays are leaning very older, but man, 77% above 30 in the US. That's crazy to me. You're just old and washed up if you play Final Fantasy. That's it.
I remember when 7 came out, man. Everybody was, even back then in like 97. That'd have been middle school, dude. People were all playing it. They were talking about it in middle school. So it's so different now. It's so different. I mean, we didn't have all the crazy stuff happening online to social media and any of this TikTok, Roblox, whatever stuff.
Yeah.
Still though, man, it is weird that Final Fantasy is still trying to find that footing with the younger audience. And I don't know if it's that the releases are so far apart, because the games do exist right now. It's just, I will tell you, it's tough with the young, like the kids, they see the game and they ask, why does this game look old?
Well, yeah, they are old.
That's a legit. Why does it look like this? That's what they say. Why does it look like this?
Well, it's funny. Like I see a lot of young people like go back and play old games, but it's such a conscious sort of like they're really into video games and they're sort of like part of casting that smaller net of like a core audience, somebody that would be watching our videos or here on this live stream. Like young people do engage with these old titles, but it's like the sort of wider casual market. They don't buy all these they don't come out. They take forever to come out. There's no affinity for it. Even if they play a Yote or something, it's like they waited how many years from Tsushima? In the PS2 days, they would have got like 4 or 5 entries in that franchise.
Yeah, but that's the thing now is there are too many games, but there's also not enough games. It's this weird thing where games come out constantly because of the digital marketplace and the idea that some companies can apparently drop 1,000 games in 3 years onto a platform, but you'll say higher quality games with known IPs and entries, they take 5-6 years to come out, and that's one a generation now. Whereas before it was, multiple in a generation. And in their case, it's like, hey, we can kind of keep them on board with this franchise because we'll keep delivering these games. And the thing I will say about Square is I think they're going the right path right now to where let's say you have a Final Fantasy release every 2 years, but it's like mainline, remake, remaster, mainline, something like that. It kind of seems like that's what that's their cadence. That's what they're picking up. I mean, we'll know more in when they've done a cycle or two now. But it kind of looks to me like that's what they're trying to do currently.
Yeah. Oh, that and I think a lot of publishers have found themselves in that spot. I'll look back at our old IP, bring it, do a remake or remaster or something. Kind of a quick and dirty way to get some money, but also expose the IP and see if there's like something there to maybe do another one. I don't know if that's the best play because it's still hard to like get people to play your games, period.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
It's too much out there.
Yeah. Just a generational divide. Things are, I say changing, but they've changed. They've been changed.
Kids need to know the classics. Okay. So just go out there. I know when you're too young, it's not going to be as exciting for a turn-based game where there's a lot of reading and there's no voice acting in these older games and stuff. So I get all that. You need a lot of imagination used. But man, the old Final Fantasy VII or the old Chrono Triggers and stuff, they still hold up. They do. And don't get me started on Chrono Trigger. I don't know what Square's doing with that. They got to get that on platforms now. But either way, I think as you mentioned, some of the people that are more plugged in, I think when the kids get to that late middle school, early high school, it's worth them maybe getting introduced to some of these older classic titles if they are that interested in video games and the history, because they're very important in gaming. So
they are. 100% agree. Let's jump into we got like a bunch of smaller things to clean up. Obviously, we're always 2 weeks behind on this stuff, so spitfire off a few fast ones to you, John. PS Plus extra games that are leaving in April, so you got about 2-something weeks left to play these games, like actually 3 weeks. EA Sports PGA Tour and Lost Records Bloom and Rage. These games are going to be expiring in about 3 weeks. Lost Records is relatively short if you're into Life is Strange.
Okay, so that's the one. That's the one to go for.
Yeah, why not? Unless you like golf. And then there was a PS Plus Essential April leak. That is going to line up to where the first Tuesday in April is actually a Tuesday. So it's or the 7th, I should clarify. So it'll be a full weekend before the lineup goes live. But apparently we're hearing from Bill Bacune writing for D Labs. One of those games is Lords of the Fallen, the 2023 release. And they've been pretty well sourced. So that might be one of the 3 games going live.
Okay. I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me. I was, no. I don't know.
PSN on Saturday, which it might not even be called PSN anymore. That was offline for 2 hours. That was on March 21st. Kind of a big deal there. Everyone always freaks out.
And what happened? What was the hashtag? What was the hashtag trending?
When PSN goes offline, people freak out.
PSN down or PSN outage. PSN was the trending thing. Interesting.
And dude, it's a big deal whenever that happens. I mean, if a Saturday, that's when you guys are going to do that.
Are we sure it wasn't? But PlayStation was down, not PSN. PlayStation was down.
Correct. So we had an insider gaming report about this, that Sony sent an internal email. The internal email basically lets developers know that, hey, we're making this brand change. Nothing is going to be changing as far as network services. The infrastructure, messages, everything, it's all staying the same. They're just simply getting rid of the PlayStation Network and PSN branding, which has been around since 2005, basically. Like that was the first time they ever actually announced and called it PlayStation Network.
Right.
And so it'll be going away. And funny enough, so I made this point when I brought up this news on LTPS, but technically this could go away tomorrow and nobody would know because there's very few places where they say or show PSN. When this story dropped, though, they made very fast changes immediately. Like before the story came out, the only time you'd really see like the name PSN would be in PS5 system settings where it would just tell you your connection status to say PlayStation Network. If you go to the PlayStation product page or the status page for their services, it would say PlayStation Network. I took a screenshot of like both of those and filmed it. And then like days later or like hours later, they made that change. Now it's simply called PlayStation. So even though they said the deadline was September 2026, they've clearly already walked away from it. So yeah, it's not PSN anymore. It's the end of an era.
I mean, we're still all going to call it PSN. So
I will. The thing is, like, it rolls off the tongue. It's an acronym. That's what you guys do. You've been doing that for 30 years. PS blank.
Do we just call it PS? PS is down.
It's weird. I feel like I was saying it's very analogous to like when Elon bought Twitter and then called it something else. It's like, why would you just like throw away such a well-known name? Like,
that's true. That's true. People still call it Twitter now. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. But again, like they could have dropped it, which they did, and you'd be none the wiser because there's very, very few places where it actually says PSN.
Yeah, we're still just going to call it PlayStation Network. But that's fine if they want to make it official and like on their internal emails and partner. I guess whatever they send out to partners, like, oh, it says PlayStation, not PlayStation Network trademark anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process was. Because some people are speculating, oh, they're going to call it something else, maybe use PS Plus. It seems like they're just calling it PlayStation for now.
All right.
For now, at least. We have more evidence of PS Store dynamic pricing, or really it's more A/B testing, but this is happening in the US now with the recent spring sale. So people have just been noticing that, hey, these games are on sale, but there's two pool of buyers. Somebody gets one sales price, somebody gets a lower sales price. Which I thought they were running this test in the US already, but I guess it's just maybe more widespread, I should say.
We're getting the more expensive one every time, aren't we?
I didn't check for my account, so I'll probably double check later, but I would think that, well, hold on. I don't buy a lot of digital games. Hold on now. Maybe I get the cheaper one.
They have all your trophy data though. They know you're like a big time.
Yeah, but player. I don't buy on PSN.
But still though, they know you buy games from them.
They know I insert physical games into my console. They don't know where I secured those physical games.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Got them from a friend, and they might want to convert me.
They know you have they know you have a PS5 Pro, so they assume you're an enthusiast.
Yeah, I feel like owning a PS5 Pro immediately disqualifies you.
I mean, yeah, they already know. Like, he's getting the expensive price. He's already in.
Yeah, probably. It's a shame. It sucks. Still an important distinction, though. It's A/B testing. They're not like raising the price of the game. It's two sale prices. Somebody gets it lower. Doesn't make it right, but just to have that distinction made clear. John, we had a ton of firmware updates. I know one of your favorite pastimes with PlayStation is booting up that console and being told you got to install new system firmware. PS3, 4.93, baby. Let's go.
Just update the Blu-ray keys.
Blu-ray keys. Yeah. It's every March. For FYI, every March. I do like that they still do this. Hey, if you use your PSP
eventually they'll stop, but it's going to be weird when they do because that means that newer Blu-rays then won't work, I guess.
I would think a modern Blu-ray release wouldn't work, but look, it's cool that they do this for PS3 still. It's pretty dope. The only annoying thing is if you're on custom firmware, now you got to sit there and wait for a stable build to come out. So just an FYI.
I mean, look, it's still a good Blu-ray player for what it is, you know?
It's a great Blu-ray player. You know what else is a great Blu-ray player? PS4 firmware 13.50. I would think, PS4 is at this point in time where if it gets a firmware update, it's either like a very crucial security parental control thing, or it is now PS3 with Blu-ray keys. If I had to guess.
Right. I mean, there's still
Yeah.
stuff that gets submitted for the PS4, to my understanding, on like their HackerOne website with the PS5. So it very well could be a security thing, but
Yeah.
it is, man, that PS4 is so close to being legacy. It's like right there. It's like right on the edge.
Yeah.
So maybe it is moving to that territory where it's just Blu-ray keys.
We're actually right around the time too. I think it was the end of April is where a bunch of APIs are going offline for PS4 too. So you can
Okay.
still submit PS4 games to like make one and sell one, but like you can't use certain key features, certain APIs that Sony offers. So yeah, it's definitely getting legacy at this point. And we have PlayStation Portal update 7.00. This was a pretty big one. Bunch of small things, right? So improving the product page, game invites, there's enhanced trophy notifications when you're streaming now. They improved the search screen, but crucially, we have a 1080p high quality mode, which is basically just a high bitrate mode. So prior, the Portal could only do up to 15 megabits per second. Now it'll go to seemingly up to 25. So pretty big, actually, because that really widens the kind of games that you can play on the Portal.
Yeah.
It doesn't improve latency, but like if you're playing something very fast paced, like the issue with the Portal has always been it throttles how much data can get sent to the screen. It doesn't matter how much like up or down you have, like it's just the Portal, you can't control the bit rate. So having a high bitrate option means that if you're playing a more fast-paced kinetic game that needs more data to come in, you can maybe avoid those splotchy artifacts.
I'm just curious. No one did just interested. Was there any battery test on this?
I didn't do a battery test. No.
Okay. I was just curious. I did turn on the high quality mode and it did look better. Like I could it was more like in motion or when it's in a darker area. If you see any of the artifacting from just buffering, like you'd see on YouTube and stuff, it looked better. Still wasn't like perfect or anything, but it looked cleaner, which is great. But I was just curious. You assume that'd be more processing for like their little central ARM chip that's in there dealing with it. So I can't imagine it'd be that different if at all. But still, just something to be curious.
That's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm sure it has maybe a minor battery impact, but there's a rumor we might get another one, a new model this year. Maybe that'll have a bigger battery.
You think any possibility of this firmware is kind of leading up to that? Because if you had, say, an OLED screen in it, like the rumor says, you wouldn't want that. They're like the older signal that they were going with. You want the newer, higher quality one for it.
I mean, I'm sure that plays a role. Definitely. But like the ironic thing is like the Portal's a great like standalone device. It's like not the best way to remote play. It's still not. The PX Play app is like, cause there's just oh great, we can go up to 25 megabits per second. Like, why couldn't it be higher? Like, it's just.
What if the OLED is if it's like a 4K screen?
That'd be great. I'm not even remotely expecting
that. Well,
that sounds too good.
I think it'd be cool if they did an OLED screen and they made it look kind of like the PS5, the DualSense Edge.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I'd like that. That'd be
Back
cool. Like a Pro Portal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's probably what they call it, a PlayStation Portal Pro.
Oh god, that's a fire name. I like that.
See, Sony can send the check.
Sometimes John has good ideas.
There it is.
We did find out on the PS blog that they gave us some Portal facts. So when they added cloud streaming to the Portal last year, the usage jumped 162% year over year. Funny they're talking in percentages, which always means the number they're coming from probably isn't that big.
Right.
But still a big jump. And 50% of PS Portal owners are subscribed to PS Plus Premium.
Oh yeah, I can see that. No, that makes sense. That makes sense because that's where the streaming is. So if you want to use half the functionality of it, yeah, you'd probably subscribe to that. But I think that Sony is having that realization, and part of this just observing the market that's happening. Old people do play on handhelds. So if you get older and you're kind of in this lifestyle of you have kids or you share a TV maybe with a spouse or whoever, there is reason to go, hey, that is very convenient to be able to move off of the TV or just move in general, be on the go with this thing. Or, hey, if you travel for work, yeah, you're going to look at some of these handheld PCs or a Switch 2 or something. At least the Portal, while I know it's streaming, it's an option. So you would have PlayStation Plus Premium. Man, I think this just to me feels like they share these stats, and it just feels like they are like full speed ahead for this handheld, native handheld. And I'm excited for it. The more they talk about it, I'm like, yeah, they're doing a handheld.
Yep. Our other firmware update is PS5 update 26.02 13.00. Now, everybody gets the updates to the Welcome Hub. So now you can do showcase mode and slideshow mode. Kind of a whatever thing in the grand scheme of things. You can just let the background sit on the Welcome Hub and it shows you the full background. You can slideshow some captures. Unicode 17 emojis, big shit there. But really, if you're a pro owner, this firmware is for you. You get the new enhanced PSSR image quality toggle, which is basically PSSR 2. Sony doesn't call it 2. It's basically 2. And it applies the new algorithm to all existing PSSR 1 games. So it's retroactive, which is huge. And it immediately fixes all your games. Digital Foundry's been doing some great coverage. Basically, everything across the board is better. It seems like generally, John, and I'm sure you've noticed, it's like they got rid of like the film grain. If a lot of games have a film grain effect, any sort of shimmering from like foliage, a lot of like games with the foliage had that, washed out, shimmering effect. And then they're just noticeably sharper. Some games more than others. It depends on what resolution they're coming off of. But because like Alan Wake 2 had that very aggressive.
That's the one I want to go back and look. I want to go take a look at that one.
864p, I think it was, going up to 4K. And it looks not great on PSSR 1. 2 looks much better. It's a pretty big jump, I'd say. So
okay.
All around it looks great. I don't know if you've been messing with it too much.
I went from Resident Evil Requiem right to Crimson Desert, and then the mini shooting game, which doesn't really use it. But Requiem looked great. Crimson Desert looks great. The performance is another thing, but I'd say it did. Crimson Desert is a game that to me shows, okay, yeah, the PS5 Pro has some value there for that. But PSSR, man, it's been that thing of, yeah, we've been the beta testers for a while, but we technically got our PS5 Pro a bit cheaper than everyone else now if you go out and get it currently. So at least there's that. I'm getting more and more excited for the idea of the upscaling technology because it is evolving rapidly, and that's right now is what we really need based on hardware prices and components just getting more and more expensive. We gotta figure out some tricks to get the image to 4K even at this point. I don't know, 8K, we'll see, but we need tricks to get there, right? People are more now talking about image quality than anything else. It's not back before it was you go from 480p to 720p to 1080p. We're talking about 4K. We've kind of stopped now with that, the resolution climb. And we're kind of like, is it an OLED? Is it an LED? Is it a micro LED? What is it? We're talking about all these other things for our displays. So PSSR and 2 now, 3. Mark Cerny mentions frame generation. There are all these things I think building up that people get annoyed because it's not native resolution or it's fake frames. It's like, look, this is probably the situation of good enough for most people, and they got to figure out a way to mitigate costs for these platforms, man.
And indeed they do. Indeed they do. You mentioned Mark Cerny. Yeah. So Digital Foundry, got to speak with him for a little bit. Got some really good quotes out of him. He primarily explained that the drop-in solution, they were able to achieve that by getting the current algorithm running just ever so slightly faster than the existing one. So that's how they were able to achieve the drop-in toggle. It's like 100 microseconds faster is what he said. So it's incredible if they were able to achieve that. I mean, you know how this goes, John. Like a new thing comes out and it's like, oh, it's only for these games. You have to wait for like having this retroactive toggle is huge, like big.
You think one of the big, maybe even the big things for the next generation with this in mind is that we have it just applied to even PS4 games completely. And there's like legitimate jump for games that we go back and play. And we're like, ooh, there's a lot of shimmering in this. They didn't know what anti-aliasing was back then. And, stuff. I think that'd be really cool to see that kind of effect happen.
I agree. I mean, so we've got like the enhanced image of PS4 games and it works. I really hope they do exactly what you're saying, is sort of doubling down on this idea of retroactively addressing the entire library. I think the more we can do that, the more advantageous it is to get a Pro or a PS6, because the onus is on them to make a PS6 sound really compelling.
Don't worry, we got DLSS 5 coming in. It's all good. Don't worry.
You also mentioned the frame gen. So this is another thing that Mark Cerny commented on. He revealed that as part of the AMD Amethyst collaboration, he said they co-engineered AMD's frame gen with them. So this is all part of the collaboration. PlayStation's been deeply involved in co-engineering that. And he did confirm that PlayStation is going to get its own frame gen library on future PlayStation platforms. Or rather, let me get the exact quote here. He didn't say future. He said, should be seen at some point on PlayStation platforms. And when he was asked when that might arrive, he said there's no releases this year, but he looks forward to discussing it in the future. So in fairness, there's some plausibility that PS5 Pro gets frame gen. I'm inclined to say this is a next gen thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. If only because frame gen is kind of problematic for some people because it makes it like latency issue and the ghosting of. If I'm Mark Cerny, I would wait to make sure that this thing is like you've got a stable build that mitigates that stuff.
Yeah, but we're like the best test subjects now with the PS5 Pro. We've already proven our worth. You know, we went from PSSR to 1 to 2 with all the data they collected from us. But you know, I do think the frame gen will be utilized by Microsoft and by Sony for next generation. And you know, it's going to be a way I think we get to 120 frames for a lot of games. We talk about 60 frames per second a lot now, how we're seeing that more and more this generation. I think that 120 frames will become much more common next gen. And yeah, it probably will be frame generation. Maybe they'll call it something different or not even tell you necessarily, because if you do, like, it depends on the settings you have. You do like 2x frame gen, latency isn't as bad. I mean, it's still there, but it's not as bad. So I don't know if it's going to be to get to 60. If it's like, oh, the only way we're going to get to 60 with this game is frame gen. That might be a little more problematic. So I think it's going to be more for we want that ultra performance mode.
Mm-hmm. I'm inclined to agree. I think that's probably the best use case for it. You want to hit up some of these super chats before we move on to some more news?
Let's see. We have Elements Master saying, may not have a PS5, but I'm always here. Pleasure having you. Buttery Cheek says, did you guys hear the PS5 prices may be going up? Just popped up today, all this stuff going around. I don't know if Ryan has that on the docket, but
we could talk about it for sure. The thing is, allegedly, it's like going to be confirmed tomorrow. So it's this might be one of those click R3 things where if we talk about it, then it pops up and then we can't like acknowledge it. But we can. But if we
talk about it as in it is and isn't confirmed, you know, then we'll have covered it ahead of time. Well, also this is apparently in Europe. What's the time in Europe right now? It's 2:46 a.m.
Yeah, like it's well, you want to hang around till it's
no, I just mean like
over there.
We might be relevant in like 6 hours.
I mean, we click cover it after the chats. Yeah,
there you go. Bespoke says, Ryan, I made John sing Barbie Girl on Spawncast, and it was better than the original.
John, did you really?
It was like spoken word singing.
So you didn't really sing it.
You know, it was like halfway there. It was good. It was a good super chat though. People enjoyed it. People enjoyed
it. You couldn't pay me to even like conceptualize the idea of you singing. It just doesn't compute in my head.
Shout out to Bespoke though. It was a good moment.
Shout out.
Barang says, hello y'all, John. The FF16 compare with Crimson makes sense since FF16 was made by the Final Fantasy 14 MMO team. That's true. It was.
Yeah.
Also, I started Elden Ring and I love it. First Souls, Ryan, you got to make some time for it.
I know. That's like another like white whale game that I would love to set aside the time and get to. But I know that's like another Rebirth for me. And I don't know if I have another Rebirth in me right now.
Yeah, Elden Ring was like 110 hours for me. So
yeah, it's up there.
It was good though. It was good. Bobo says, Ryan, how would you feel if Sony decided to have a pricing structure where first-party games are cheaper digital than physical? 60 digital, 70 physical.
I mean, I would never advocate for that because it would suck. But I would always advocate for prices being more affordable for people, just generally speaking. Mm-hmm. The thing that rubs me the wrong way about the physical and digital is that, yeah, there's like a cost of replicating the disc, shipping, fulfilling. Your retail partners get a cut. So they bring home more digital. But at least if we're sort of addressing the whole Nintendo situation, you know, there's a massive cost difference between the game key cards and the full size ones.
Right.
So like printing discs is far cheaper, far cheaper. So it's really tough to say and, you know, propose the idea that I would prefer that or be okay with it. I'd still like games to be as cheap as they possibly can. So it's something like that still feels very arbitrary to me.
Mm. Toasty says, what's your current setup for hooking up a PS2 to a modern TV? New to the retro scene and picked up a PS2 thick.
What a great pickup. I use a RetroTink.
I have that's a RetroTink's kind of expensive. I have a
Yeah.
there is, I got to look up what this was again. Oh man. There's a PS2 plug that's actually good. It's like high quality. It's Electro.
Wait, which one do I have? I have the 5X. Okay.
Here it is. I would recommend the Electron Pulse. It works for the PS2 and the PS3. All right. And it's like an HDMI converter from the PS2. It goes directly from the back, and then it just plugs into, it's like an HDMI input, and it has like a little USB-C on the back for I feel like, I don't know if that was for power. I think I just plugged in without it. I think
it's got to be for power, right? It's got to have its
no,
own
here it
power
is.
source.
Yeah, it requires an external I'm trying to remember how I hooked it up. It requires an external 5-volt power supply, and it can come from one of the USB ports actually on the front of your PS2, which is kind of interesting. So he's routed around there, but otherwise you just plug it into the wall or something for that. But that, I think that might be if you're looking for convenience, it being afforded, it's like $35 for the adapter, and the image was good. I think I did a whole video using that with captured footage.
35.
Yes, $35.
I'd be curious what the video, because here's the thing about PS2 and modern TVs is that the sort of uneducated, like looking it up kind of thing, like you can find adapters on Amazon for like $10 fucking, but those are awful. They put out a really bad image. So yeah, like what I recommended is like, I don't want to say overkill. It's certainly a first class option, but the RetroTink 5X Pro is unfortunately $325 right now. Have you
ever used any of the Electron Pulse adapters, Ryan? Because they're pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't tried those, so like you can speak on that. I'd like just to avoid the cheap dongles because those actually suck ass.
Yeah, definitely avoid those. But no, Electron Pulse, they have Wii, Xbox, and PS2. I have all of them, and they're all actually very good. Like they're for the price and the image that you get. Like I said, there's a video I did on the PS2. I gotta remember which one it was. I used it and I recorded footage and showed it, so it held up well.
And they're platform specific. So like there's a PlayStation. Okay, yeah.
It's a like PS2, PS3 one. And then there's one for the Xbox and the Wii.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like probably easily the best compromise because the RetroTink is like you can throw anything at it. You buy that for like connecting a whatever you want to that thing.
Yeah. Yes, that's the route I would go if you're just the RetroTink. Yes, if you're hooking everything up to it, it's a good investment. But it's also pretty expensive. Whereas it's like $35. It gets in that category of, oh, I'm scrolling through Amazon and I need a cable kind of territory. So, yeah. But you got to go on their website. It's electronshepherd.com. Oh, that's what it is. electronshepherd.com. Just search Electron PS2 adapter and it should come up. Let's see. We have Bespoke again says next week on LTPS, Mystic Ryan goes all digital and Melissa falls into a bag of catnip and gets 60 platinums in 60 seconds.
Quite the LTPS episode.
Okay.
But you did say I go all digital, so that won't happen.
Nora Fair says Blu-ray playback peaked on PS3. Also, I love when you could buy digital games and play in slow motion. Also change an icon on videos. So that 15-second clip was great. Also can't wait to play Noose, Ryan.
I'm sure. Well, you know what, Norfair, you actually missed me noosing last weekend, I want to say. Oh. Yeah, last weekend. Yep. Might be popping into PS3 here and there for a video I do every year. And you weren't there. You weren't there. You're gonna have to be donating for a year now until I do it again. I can't believe you missed. I checked Hangman's Noose. I didn't see you there, so
that's for a video.
PS3 Online.
It is 2026. Somebody's
It
got to
is.
check.
Yeah, somebody has to.
It's Ornal says, High Guard was the most miserable platinum experience of my life. But man, those boosting sessions were kind of fun. What?
Wait a minute. How's it that bad? It can't be worse than Concord. Concord was killing yourself over and over again.
They're just throwing themselves off the level,
Really?
man.
What was the loop? Well, like, because obviously you must be like looping something repetitious over and over again to do it. That's
Man. Really want those rare platinums, huh? Jeez.
People they like the novelty of that, going for like the dead live service platinums.
The 14th Dragon says, what's the best place for shelving your games? On a shelf.
The best place for shelving your games, like the best shelf.
I mean, most people buy the same. I feel like most people buy the same like 4 or 5 media shelves from Amazon or something, and then they just throw them on there.
No, I mean, look, if this is ever an opportunity for me to rant about this, I love seeing other people's gaming setups with physical games, but everyone buys bookcases, and the games aren't for that, because then it's just not. It's not a good use of space, because then like the game is pushed so far backwards,
right?
So much, like you need to buy like a media shelf that's like coded for CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. That way the shelf doesn't like have a like, it doesn't come out as a huge profile. The game is right there to easily slide in and out. And it also avoids this unnatural habit people like to do of then stacking their games horizontally or something on top of, the first layer, because bookshelves are just so big.
Right.
You don't want to do that. It just looks messy, chaotic. You also should never be placing your games horizontally. They should always be placed vertical, because they can warp if they're horizontal.
Oh, see, Ryan's got the knowledge, coming in with the knowledge on that. Okay.
Don't buy bookshelves for your physical games collection.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on the price increase rumor?
Sure. Let me pull up the note for that real quick.
That's going to get confirmed after LTPS goes live. Watch.
Dude, probably. I'm actually preparing for like just probably filming another conversation right after.
You need to, dude. If this happens, I saw these prices and I was like, dude, that would mess a lot of things up.
We have a French content creator. I cannot pronounce their name, so I'm sorry about that. Allegedly, they're connected to retail sources who got Xbox price increases correct before. I can't speak to the validity of that. But they're claiming PS5 is getting a dramatic price increase in Europe. The PS5 Slim would go from €550 to $650, so $100 jump. The Pro would go from $800 to $900, and the Portal would go from $220 to $250. If we adjust those for USD, it would be $750 for a PS5 Slim. A PS5 Pro would be $1,038, and a Portal would be $288 USD. So pretty insane price increases. The thing about this price increase, John, look, if it happens, I'd be not totally shocked, but surprised, because we have official language from Lin Tao on the last investor Q&A that they actually specifically addressed the RAM and memory crisis by saying we have enough allocation for the end year holiday season. Some people are getting confused on fiscal years and that ends in April. No, they said this ending year holiday season, which conceivably means there should not be a price increase. Especially because she also used the deliberate language of, we will monetize the existing user base. Like that's their how to get through this. Right. I was like, don't worry, we have people. We'll find a way to charge them. So if this gets confirmed, nuts, crazy.
This would mess a lot of stuff up. I will say, if this actually happens,
yeah, it's huge.
I mean, our any PS6 price predictions that have been made, I'd have to immediately rethink those, because remember, we've seen this kind of in succession where one region will get a price increase, Japan or Europe, and then from there, the one that didn't get the price increase, they'll get it. And then what happened after that? Eventually, it did find its way to the US, and it was like, man, the price really they couldn't hold it off. And I mean, the price increase for this it seems almost too substantial. I mean, going up €100 for the PS5 Slim to where it would be €650 or $750 is just ludicrous. That's what a PS5 Pro costs here in the US. And then we do see that $1,000 PS5 Pro then, based on the exchange rate. Those aren't systems that are going to sell much then. I don't know what to say. They're just going to stop selling, I would assume then.
it's I can't even like it's expensive, really expensive. To your point, I mean to your, like that's the thing too. If they increase prices, like it would be somewhere else. And what I mean is like they do Japan, they do Australia, they do Europe. You know, we have to be like honest. They would like make US the very last place to do it.
They seem to have this renewed interest in Japan though, because they announced that subsidized PS5 that's region locked there.
Well, but the thing is that subsidized PS5 is still more expensive than what the damn thing costs at launch.
That's true. That's true.
I actually would be pretty shocked if they went this high, especially because like I don't know, like this is the point I made before, John. They could eat it, and they should. They make money hand over fist, but it's just one of those publicly traded companies that, you know, they can see maybe they can get away with a price increase. And then what sucks more is that it'll be normalized, because then that conceivably means a PlayStation 6 would be much more than we're thinking, even if it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but you eventually, to me, you get to a price point where it does start to become enthusiast, kind of niche enthusiast. You know, like eventually when you're over $1,000 with maybe a pro model or something, it's like you're probably not selling tens of millions of those things just by way of someone's going to go, that's just too expensive, and then just keep moving. So like we talk about those PC handhelds, the PC gaming handhelds, they don't sell several million systems. You know, they sell tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe, and it's just they're expensive. There are many of them that are over $1,000. Even that PS5 Slim is the one that gets me though, because that would be their floor level, and it's 650 euros. Like the PS5 Pro, it's like you don't. If you're gonna go out and buy it and you're like budget minded, you're already probably thinking, okay, what's like the cheapest entry point for this? 650 euros though, man. 750 US dollars is madness in year 6.
It's a lot. It goes in the face of their public comments, which, mind you, they could do that shit all day, every day. What they say still doesn't mean much because, you know, things do change. I just think this is so steep. It throws PS6 up in the air. It's also just questionable as far as like, oh, well, their closest competitor is basically out of the race, so they feel like they could probably get away with this. And then people are still buying consoles at the same rate that they previously were. So do they feel like they want to test the waters of what they can get away with, which again normalizes the price? None of it's good. If this is true.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to see it. And they're saying it. I mean, yeah, this is probably something you would push the update on a Friday on the way out the door.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it'd be a Friday thing.
So that does kind of line up with the idea that it'll be confirmed tomorrow. Or they'd be like, yeah, all right, price going up. See ya. We're out for the weekend.
Yeah, it'd just be with the dreaded PlayStation blog post where it's just a PlayStation logo.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit.
Update.
An update to our oh no.
Oh man. I will what to save it. That's emergency Mystic Ryan video tomorrow if this happens.
But the thing, there's not even much to say. It's just gonna be like, oh my god, this is nuts,
dude. I will tell you this: if this happens, I think the $1,000 PS6 is on the table.
Dude, there's no way.
I think it's on the table. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It might actually be a thing.
I'm still not convinced PS6 would be $1,000. I'm just not convinced.
I'm saying it's on the table because now all of a sudden there's a PS5 Pro that exists at $1,000 already.
No, it's in the kitchen, John. It's still being it's on the cutting board. It's still being prepared.
Is the $800 PS5 Pro on the board then?
Well, yeah. So like, I won't back down. Like I remember I said like, oh, I think they'd like to do 600, but like 650 or 7 is a distinct possibility. If these are the prices, if they go up to this for PS5, then I'm jumping to 800. That's what I'm then jumping to. Because
with no disk drive?
Because no matter what, the Pro is still going to be, I'd be shocked otherwise because they have to phase it out.
Yeah.
It's not, you have to get rid, and it's just like PS4 Pro. You just stop selling it. So that way the price optics make sense.
Would you like, So the PS5 Pro is interesting because we see it doing things like PSSR 2 now. Are we sure they wouldn't move and slot that in as their? Although I guess not enough people have that kind of PlayStation anyway, So the PS5 Pro, you'd assume could get updates for upscaling and other things they might try to implement going forward. But then it's this weird divide for the PS5 audience to where, I mean, the vast majority of people have the base PS5. So that's the one I assume they would fall back to. Like Sony. So you're right. The PS5 Pro, well, it would make more sense to slot that one in and move it down and be like, this is where we're going to start now going forward. It's like the whole point is the PS5 base console is, 85, 86 million plus, more than that probably, 90 million plus now. When you take into account the PS5 Pro, maybe they're at their mid 90. Oh, they're coming up on 100 million. And yeah, the PS5 Pro has to go away, basically. That's so weird. I'm falling back to 800 on the PS6 if this is a correct price increase.
Yeah.
I'm going 800.
We will find out very soon. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I still like the price increase is still possible. I just don't think we didn't think it was this steep, like 100 up.
No, the Portal almost $300 too is. I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either, and that makes it weird for a possible OLED version. You're telling me I'm going to drop $350 to $400 on a fucking remote play device?
So it was like 200 is what where the Portal was started. I was thinking, okay, maybe it's 300 for the OLED Pro one.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, okay, hold on, maybe this is like a $350 thing, right?
That's so much money.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about their handheld either. Although their handheld, I don't think is going to be as crazy to deal with because the PS6 is the one that would be like the memory hog, I think.
Yeah, well, the memory would definitely be not as high.
Yeah.
Component, I don't know. It's like different components, I mean, screens are cheap. Yeah, they might be in decent shape for portable. I don't know. Times have changed.
Yeah. And tomorrow might be an interesting day. No, tomorrow's definitely gonna be an interesting day. But will it be interesting for PlayStation? We'll see.
All right, we have we got a lot of things going on for just straight up PS Studio news, a lot of first party game news. I'm very excited about this, John, because Soras, Housemarque, we had a bunch of previews go out. Press had some hands-on time a few weeks ago. That cherry picked a few things that really stood out. I mean, obviously, if you want to like see more of the game, a lot of footage is out there now. But some of the key points you should know about this game. So it is indeed more approachable. That's what we keep hearing. That doesn't mean it's harder or easier, though. It's just a matter of like, I think for Eternal, a lot of people got stuck on like Biome 1 and didn't get anywhere else. Conceivably, it sounds like you'll be able to like really kind of work your way into Soras a bit easier. The whole eclipse mechanic, so that's tied into the gameplay, and that when you're going through a biome, you can activate the eclipse, and that's going to turn the level, change it. The encounters are going to get much harder, but your pickups and your rewards are going to get a lot better. And then for the story, they are doing a Hades here, which basically means in between your runs, you're going to unlock new dialogue in the hub area with all those people that are, congregating, and that's where the story is going to expand. And you'll find out more things, and it's not obtuse like Returnal. Like apparently, it's a lot more in your face. This is what's going on. These are the key moments, because Returnal is really definitely it obfuscates a lot of its story details pretty intentionally. The other thing is that the game director, Gregory Loudon, was asked by Game Informer about that PC version. Expectedly, he said, the answer right now is we're only talking about Soras on PS5. Which, this is one of those things where, like, you're not going to say anything because it's something that's not going to happen. So I think just with high-profile first-party games, you're just going to hear him say, we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah, but the way he said is like, we're just talking about PlayStation.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me. No, don't even bother. So it's I don't know. It does sound more and more like Sony is defaulting to their console more than ever right now.
For single player games. Still important
for single player. Yes.
Yep.
I wasn't looking for footage on Soras. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for it to release. I don't need to see anymore.
I'm so fucking excited. Everything they're doing in this game is like a direct, like, we hear you on Returnal. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. So even before the previews, they've been putting these small gameplay clips and sort of developer diaries on their channel.
Mhm.
And one of them was showing off the three mechanics in the game. So there's it's called the armor matrix. That's the permanent unlocks. The first thing on that skill tree is second chance.
Oh, okay.
So
There you go.
the first skill you unlock is getting a revive. And then from there you can do armor integrity and your shield and damage capacity, things like that. So it's definitely going to be like approachable. Then there's the Caracosa modifiers. So that's again like the Hades thing. You can like modify your run. But here's what they were saying: like it's not going to be easier. So the way it works is that you can activate a modifier that makes it easier. So let's say that's you can open the window for perfect reloads. So it's easier to do perfect reloads. When you modify the game like that, they all have their own values. You have to offset it with a hard modifier. You can't, I'm pretty sure you can't just turn on easy ones and play. You have to offset it. So you have to then pick
Okay.
a hard modifier, like enemies take more hits or something. So you can like adjust like the area that you're maybe struggling with
Mhm.
and ramp up difficulty for something you're okay with. Which I kind of love that that's the attitude of it. Of like, no, you can't just turn all the easy dials on this game. So that's pretty cool.
This is good because Hades and Hades 2 have kind of set the stage for this kind of a game that's a bit more quote unquote AAA, like better visuals, all that stuff. So I think Soras has a chance to do much better than Returnal. Returnal is a good game. I get why people were like, yeah, maybe not for me. This is punishingly difficult. That's not always how people want to go about gaming. But I mean, this is a game that you can eventually brute force your way through by running into the wall over and over again. At least there's a way to get through it for people. So it's interesting you said that people weren't getting out of Biome 1 for Returnal.
I saw that a lot.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
as anecdotal as that sounds, I love Returnal, dude. And I always like love just like reading like people's experience with it.
Mhm.
Dude, I read that constantly. People that dropped out of Returnal,
Wow.
if the difficulty was it was like, oh, I spent hours in Biome 1. And it's like
Wow. Really?
hours in Biome 1. And I don't want to just like be a dick and say, oh, it's a skill issue. But it's like I think there's definitely like the game doesn't click with them in that way.
Mhm.
Because you at a certain point you'd think like you sort of get the chaotic nature of the bullet hell and you have to, dodge and get out of the way and stuff. But also the first time you play the game, like you're restricted on the weapons that you have. And that's what makes Returnal so much more like it's not like the game has permanent unlocks, but you don't feel them because the permanent unlocks are in the weapon aspects. So
Yes.
the weapons
As
get
you
more
use them.
powerful. But if you're only in Biome 1, you only get like two,
Yep.
three weapons. So I can see how they're trying to address it. And I love that so far everything they're saying and doing all the right stuff so far.
Yeah, I'm ready for a month away. Getting close.
Mhm. So that was that's Saros. And then John, you're gonna love this. Horizon Forbidden West got the power mode update. Power saver.
Mm.
Now you can play that with power saver.
Just in case you want to be greener while you're playing Horizon. No other reason for this. Just
No,
in case you want
no
to
other
pull West
reason.
out from the wall.
Every PS Plus Premium and Classic game also launches with it now too. The PS5
Interesting.
versions, yeah. I think they've been going back and patching the previous ones too. So I don't know if that's like a straight mandate just yet, but it seems like the power saver thing is getting more and more commonplace.
Nothing to see here. Just save it. Just
Nothing
trying to
to
save
see.
energy.
Marvel's Wolverine. I'm surprised this caught a lot of attention, but I think people are just fiending for this news. It's been highlighted that Insomniac Games was responding to fans on Twitter about news for the game.
Mhm.
And so they reiterated that they'll share news during spring 2026. And John, we're basically in spring 2026. And somebody was asking about pre-orders. They said they want to show you more of the game before they open pre-orders. Now, technically speaking, spring goes until, depending on your definition, either the end of May or like June 20th.
Yeah.
We still got some time to go. If you're waiting for Wolverine, you're gonna have to wait.
I'm thinking May. I think that's where they're gonna do it. Get past the Saros release. Boom. Wolverine.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the typical late May, early June state of play, right before Summer Game Fest. Has to be, right?
Yep.
I would
Makes
think.
sense.
Yeah, I would think.
Give it its own state of play, show it off for 15 minutes or so, and then ask for money.
I'll take that too.
There it is.
I would take that too. We have another actor confirmed for Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet from Naughty Dog, and this was confirmed via Neil Druckmann over on Instagram. He just posted a picture showing Merle Dandridge doing some mocap for the game, and he had the caption, Merle Dandridge is a national intergalactic treasure. She, of course, plays a character in The Last of Us, and we've seen that like actors that they've worked with prior are all landing roles in this game. So Merle's in there, Troy Baker's in there. He worked with Tony Dalton on the HBO show. He's in here. So it seems like she's got some sort of role in this game. Not sure when we'll see more, but I'm hoping that too will be maybe that May state of play, June state of play.
You think so? I mean, we're thinking 2027 on this one because they got.
Yeah.
I figured this thing's coming out before the PS6, so it's got to be next year.
Well, I think the minimum is like the TGAs, but that's the end of the year. So I'm just being greedy.
I'm thinking summer 27. This thing comes out. Maybe like that April May release. You think for it, or you think they're going to go all the way into the summer, like July?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably a summer release. I mean, to be truthful, it probably would be the TGAs when they show more of this because there has to be room to show the Faye God of War game.
Yeah,
you can't just be doing like here's some Wolverine stuff, here's the Faye thing. Oh, here's Intergalactic again. That's
a good way to kind of not close out the PS5 generation, but end the specific PS5 time with Sony Santa Monica, and then you have Naughty Dog show up all at once there to close out just ahead of the PS6. And let's face it, they'll both get PS6 version, probably get PS6 versions some kind.
That's the only thing that's going to feel weird about like all the 2027 stuff is like, oh, but I could like play this on a PS6 because it's clearly going to get a PS6 version. Like it's very clearly going to get,
Yeah, but I also bought the really nice swanky PS5 Pro. So in a way, this would also show off, I assume, what the PS5 Pro could do.
That's true. That's true. Good old John coming in with logic.
But I mean, let's face it, they'll get us on the PS6 release as well.
Oh, obviously, yeah. The double dipping bullshit, because of course I hope and expect they'll get some physicals, some new PS6 box art.
Oh,
and I'm a fucking whore for new paper.
What's the color scheme for that? What's the color scheme?
And it's a question a lot of people are asking. I think I'm leaning towards. I don't know if you noticed this, John. PlayStation Plus recently has gone over a new color scheme. PS Plus for a while, for the past few years, has had this grayscale background and then obviously the bright yellows. But in the past 2-ish weeks, or I think upwards of a month ago, it's now a very dark navy blue. So if you look at PS Plus on PS5, if you look at marketing details, I think the websites have changed now too. I'd have to double check, but it's a new color scheme, which is, I mean, we're during that transitionary period. It's a very deliberate change that Sony makes, which if anything, the PSN change will be, part of that, which is starting up a new identity and color scheme for the console. So if I had to guess, maybe a dark blue, maybe a navy dark blue.
I do see the dark blue. Interesting. So you think, will they have any of like the white in there at all? Or you think it's supposed to be dark navy blue and then maybe like touch of white for like PS6 logo or something?
I would think that, I mean, because PS5, like for better or worse, really stood out for like the way it was presented, which was like that heavy sort of not chromatic, but like sterile white look. And I think to really telegraph the new product, I mean, you go for like a dramatically different color. So I don't think you use any white.
Right.
I mean, maybe white for like, maybe for fonts, but I think
that's what I was thinking.
The primary color I'm thinking is maybe this like dark blue that they're now using.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, the system is either going to be black or white, I assume, right?
I mean, I think the box itself will probably stick to black this time around.
Yeah. Black and then maybe like dark blue accents in there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they like that too. I mean, the console probably have some sort of, LED that sort of complements or accents around certain design lines. That's sort of what I'm thinking right now.
I see people in the chat saying purple even.
I would say no, but you never know.
Purple would be interesting.
You never know. I mean, PlayStation sticks to like, monotone color is your blacks, grays, whites, obviously blue, but it's like, how many times can you do blue? So I think dark blue probably makes the most appropriate sense. And that we see it on the UI. So I'm thinking maybe that's what's going on.
Okay.
Next up, let's talk about some sales data because God of War Sons of Sparta apparently did pretty well, at least in the US. We have some data from our friend Matt Piscatella, courtesy of Circana, tracking those video game sales in the US. And for the top 10 best-selling PS5 and PS4 games in February, ranked by dollar sales, it was number 6.
That's pretty good because it's $30 game, right?
$30 game, benchmarked against $60 and $70 games.
That's pretty good.
Although they could have been on sale. And then for the entire month, all platforms, it was number 14. Important to remember that Nintendo they don't disclose digital data. So in theory, maybe like a Switch game or something pushes it below 14. But for that kind of game, pretty damn good. Which I think bodes well for that kind of game too.
Yeah. Oh, I think I do also feel like the shadow drop helped it quite a bit.
It did.
There's a lot of excitement all at once. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's they knew what they had there and they said, or shadow drop. And look, you know what that really speaks to? The God of War brand is incredibly powerful. It's very strong.
It is.
So that is the one brand I'll give Sony credit for, that and like Gran Turismo, that they have really, I mean, they've built for decades now. So sometimes you cash in.
I want to see more stuff like this. Contract out another small team and let them do another, like an existing IP.
Interesting. You mentioned this.
Explore a different genre.
Interesting. You mentioned this.
Why are you freaking out so much?
There's something that was blowing up online yesterday or day before.
I'm actually
older
confused.
IP.
What are we? That
blowing up.
I've got it down here. Don't worry.
Okay.
I wasn't going to segue to that, but now that you did that, John, hold on. Let me pull up the note. I did not copy and paste this from my other separate show notes, so you caught me on the fly here. Let me pull it up. Because obviously, John, you know me, and you know what I love.
Yep.
And the viewers know what I love. I have a shrine. Recently, what surfaced here was an animator, Travis Howe, at Sanzaru Games. They worked there from 2018 to the studio's closure, and they were given permission to release a proof of concept video. And that proof of concept was a Jak and Daxter remake and what it would look like. Now, it was not commissioned by Sony. He makes that very clear. It was not their approval, but he was given the okay to like show this thing that I would think that they moonlighted it because it was a fan pitch. They were trying to get approval, but they do show this like shot for shot scene of when Daxter turns into an Otzel on Misty Island. So you can like see a very early proof of concept look at a Jak and Daxter remake. It looks good. Looks pretty sweet.
This got a lot of attention online. You notice that?
It should, because it's kind of crazy. So the thing, like, this stuff happens a lot. We just never see it or hear about it,
right?
Because they're never given permission. And I'm curious too, like, because he said a fan pitch, so this almost sounds like only they did it, and they didn't even they tried to pitch it. Oh, go ahead.
They said they were given permission to show this.
Yeah, well, like this is where I'm just speculating because it could have it could have been based on whatever the political culture rules were at the studio, but it's like you can moonlight and just make something and then try and like pitch that to senior leadership, because you have to get like everybody on the team on board to then take it more seriously. Then you present that to Sony. That's how you get a circumstance like Days Gone 2 never even made it to Sony. Like the studio itself still has their own hierarchy of what do we make, put our time in, build a pitch deck, and present to Sony. So the read to me is like one or a few people worked on this and just like kind of did it on the side, tried to get like some backing, didn't go anywhere. I don't know if that's true. That's just what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Having said that, it looks interesting. It looks really cool. And dude, I've always said, like with Jak and Daxter, like I don't even want a sequel or a remake because I love the property so much that I would be very vulnerable to any sort of changes done to it. But looking at this, I'm like, damn, this is a good foundation. Like this looks really, really cool, actually. And I'm already seeing like the hardcore Jak and Daxter fans like cherry pick like the lighting or the animation or the eyes. And it's like, no, we don't have to do that. We know it's like rough. That's what this is. It's a proof of concept. Foundationally, like what can we judge? And dude, like I was sold. I'm like, holy shit, this sucks. It couldn't go further. I think they nailed it.
Yeah, it's hard to say where it got denied or rejected or whatever somewhere in up the line to Sony but either way, you're right. It looked good. This is them just a couple people like, let's see what we can do with this and present something that will look decent. And it's like, man, if that's decent, what would happen if Sony was like, yeah, let's do this? This was, I think it was mentioned because people were following up. There was somebody else who seemed to work there, and they mentioned like 2019 for something like this is when it was going down. And I mean, I think about it with Sony. I don't think this would have gone anywhere because they were so. This would have been when they were building up their live service stuff, even going into the PS5 generation, right? So,
there definitely was a bigger commitment for live service. I think that really didn't ramp up until like 2020. I think that was when they disclosed the big, like, oh, here's all this big capital,
Yeah.
But like 2019 was also when like key leadership changes were taking place.
Right.
So it's hard to say. Like that was still close to like the Other Ocean medieval remake. And they approved that. Same with Shadow. So arguably that was during a time where it maybe had a shot, but I don't think it was clear if this made it to Sony or not. Like it might not have got past Sanzaru.
Right. So let's think about it that way. It didn't get past Sanzaru, but now, I mean, to me, I know this is still like, it's not the market overall, but there seems to be some interest here. And you know what? The thing is, so we're talking about how Sony's strategy seems to be shifting, because I have to imagine you have the Dark Outlaws topic, obviously, because they shut down
Dark Outlaw games.
Yeah. But they even mentioned some stuff seems to have changed a little bit behind the scenes of Sony, and that's why I kind of think. Do you get the feeling that we're seeing some just some stuff changing from Nishino's angle?
Yeah,
like he's making some changes, right?
He's definitely gotten into that. Yeah. I think he's more of a somewhat old-fashioned guy, and some of the immediate changes he's been making is very deliberately, like the Japanese language only PS5, going back to PS5 single-player games, staying exclusive if they're PS Studio titles. And it could be something like...
Who does that sound like? What company does that sound like?
What company does that sound like?
Outside of Sony, in the video game space, what other platform holder does it sound like when you go,
Nintendo?
They're going to stay with this. It sounds like it's more traditional, and it sounds like you would think of someone like Nintendo with how they have been stubborn to a fault at times, but man, their IPs are worth a lot of money, and man, they've been around for a long time. And when they do decide to bring one back, and I guess it hasn't been around that long, gone that long. Did you see what happened today with Star Fox?
What happened with Star Fox?
Okay, so have you been, the movie's coming out next week, right?
Right, yeah.
So turns out Fox is in the movie, and the way that we found out, the way that we found out is they just randomly, and I had to check because I was like, is this like one of those, one of those parody accounts that tries to trick everyone? Is that what this is? Because it's like, here's a really good looking poster. AI is getting better. People can maybe like fabricate or whatever. Here's a really good looking poster of Fox McCloud. And they're like, hey, Star Fox is in the movie. Just randomly. It's like, what? And dude, 24 million views on that thing already? Are you serious? What? And people are they're losing their mind online. And when was the last time a good Star Fox game came out?
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
Well, like, as you're explaining that, I'm like, yeah, but this Star Fox is not a fucking system seller.
But this is what I mean. That the IP, the idea of it is so strong, and it's because Nintendo, they cultivate their intellectual properties and stuff. And yeah, sometimes they're like really aggressive in a courtroom or something over it, but they legitimately cultivate it, and it's very important to them, and they do it over so many decades now. And I almost wonder if Sony, in the sense that, man, budgets are expensive. How much would it cost to remake Jak and Daxter? Probably not as much as let's make some crazy new AAA game from scratch. It's like, could this work? Could Jak and Daxter actually make somewhat of a return in the form of a remake and just test the market?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think it's so easy for like hardcore fans to jump at the opportunity and say yes, but it's like we've seen otherwise. Like
Mhm.
like
That's true.
Shadow didn't do well. The other Ocean, Medieval, like these, like we have to confront the very real truth that sometimes like these games are not greenlit because they wouldn't do what people think they do. You know,
So
but
that's
like
why.
on the no, but like on the flip side, like you
Mhm.
were mentioned before, like the online numbers. I mean,
Mhm.
that does play a role in like approvals. They do want to see social proof. So like those numbers are not inconsequential. Like you can like build a pitch on the basis of look at the engagement that this property has nowadays. That's implicit conversions model. That's how they like get approval to bring back classic games.
Sure.
So it's real. I just think it's, you know, still kind of a financially tough thing to pitch. But if leadership wants little games like that, because it's a little bet. Like Sons
Right.
of Sparta is a little bet.
Mhm.
Like that game did fine. I'm sure that game was like very profitable. But
Oh, yeah.
the overall revenue for that game is like a drop in the bucket to what SIE brings in. It seems clear that for most of this console cycle, they didn't want to make little bets anymore because that's what those are.
Yes. So I would, if I was Sony, I would think about this more like a budget in budgeting a bit better. You know, like let's not go crazy. You're not going to put Naughty Dog or somebody on a project like this. You know, you're going to think about this a bit. Who can we contract out to and keep it within reason? I mean, dude, it seems like it lines up perfectly for Toys for Bob.
I would love for them to tackle it.
This seems perfect for them, right? I mean, you also have what's the studio that just the Radical Entertainment made a comeback.
Yeah, radical. Yeah,
Dude, I wonder if they could get them. There's studios now that are forming around just the idea even of remaking games. And I feel like there's potential for Jack and Daxter right now. I do. And honestly, if they started development on now, you know, we'd find out in 4 years, and then who knows what the market looks like. But man, if there was any time for a Sony to be like, oh, gotcha, guys, guess what? There was a Jack and Daxter game in development. Now's the time. But you know, the other thing about Sony that's so interesting, you mentioned Final Fantasy, and you were like, man, it's a bunch of old people playing this game. And Final Fantasy, it's struggling with the younger audience. Sony doesn't really have that issue with some of their games because God of War is just, people grew up with God of War. Like they're just old now who want to play God of War, and that's great. But there is something to the idea of having that Astrobot, having that Ratchet and Clank, and just consistently building, even if they're not 10 million plus sellers, to just keep engagement across the board for like the general audience, old and younger gamers coming in. I think Jack and Daxter is like, again, that perfect gamer who is 10 to 18, somewhere in there, right? Like the teenager almost. I think Jack and Daxter can work there too.
I would like to agree. I just think it's really tough, like tougher than one would think.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think they could release it and make money, but it's like how committed are they to doing stuff like that nowadays? Because they sort of had this bloat, this bloat of our sort of new identity is the big AAA storytelling, right. And that's fine. But I think they've they sort of lost their way in that, well, now we're not interested in doing little bets anymore.
Yeah.
If Nishino if that's maybe like the new refocused idea, I'm all for it. I think they need to start doing that shit because it also fills out the portfolio. I don't know if like they're going to ever sort of be able to capture the magic of this, like the love for the IP in the same way a Nintendo fan does for Nintendo characters. You know, that's a really steep mountain to potentially climb.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can, you know, spit out a bunch of these little remakes here and there and make some money and, you know, sort of refoster that identity they had for 20 something years and then kind of lost their way late PS4, most of PS5, I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got to start somewhere with it again. And I mean, Jack and Daxter was a while ago, I know, but it was awesome on the PS2, and it's kind of moved away from it. So I know it's like, oh, we want Sony studios to move on and try new things. That's great. But like occasionally you do need, oh, that's the God of War studio, like with Sony Santa Monica. Occasionally you need that because I mean they'll stick around, they'll stand the test of time, and God of War is stronger than ever right now. I mean, they're building an entire universe around this thing because they've built it up so much. So I don't know. It's something to think about, Jak and Daxter. I think it's worth taking a shot on. I'm also not the one who's responsible for this, multi-billion-dollar company, and everything hinges on PlayStation there just about now with Sony, so they can't mess it up. I get it, but you know what, Nishino, sometimes you got to take a chance. I'm talking directly to them right now, okay, as they watch the show. Sometimes you just got to take a chance, call up Toys for Bob and see what they're doing.
Nishino's making phone calls right now.
They're working with Microsoft on something right now, but see what they got going on over there. See if they got room.
It was cool to see. I'd like to see that clip.
Cool. It was cool. Yeah.
It sold me.
You thought it was good though, because I saw some people in the comments who said it looked soulless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to the lighting is off. We don't got. It's proof of concept.
Right.
It's all you're supposed to look at. All you're supposed to do is look at this and go, oh, the vision is there. That's what you're supposed. And I saw it. And I keep saying, like, I don't even want it because I love the property too much and I don't want to see somebody's modern interpretation of it. But now that I've sort of seen the vision, I'm like, oh shit, somebody can do it.
It looked like a fan. I say this in a good way. It looked like a fan was like actually working on it, like somebody who knew the series. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, whatever this shot. All right, fine, I'll do something with it. It looked like somebody actually cared, like, to make that. And so,
well, that's like things looked the way that they reasonably should look. One of the biggest problems with remakes and remasters is that, like, artistic direction changes. That didn't change here. And famously, when Naughty Dog explored Jak 4, dude, they wanted to make everything hyper realistic. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And it was birthed at that studio. So it's, it depends on the interpretation.
If they do it, I would not put remake or remaster in the title.
Just call it Jak and Daxter. Because
I think it's been so long that the audience that they would be targeting with it, again, that maybe the younger audience coming in, they'd maybe learn about it if they went off and looked, but to them it might just be a new game. So
yeah, and you could do that for sure. 100% could.
We're still looking for him, Sackboy. I think Sony forgot about him too.
We had a new one. I mean, the longer we go, I mean, the older that's going to be.
The kids think that's a fun character too. So I'll say that, Sackboy.
I mean, for a while, I was always like, guys, we did have one, like, launch day PS5. Like, that is actually recent. But now the more time then these
it's been more 5 years.
he's been on net. Yeah, he's just he's not a burlap sack anymore. He's just burlap.
Even that game was okay, but it wasn't like, it doesn't feel like a super memorable entry, I'll say.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It seemed like a conscious choice to sort of like capture a Nintendo energy. It's basically a Mario 3D World. It basically is. Or 3D Land, rather. 3D Land. John, that is exactly what that gameplay is.
It's just not as good.
Oh, okay, but they try. That's what I'm saying. That's what everyone wants to say these things, but like numbers don't back it up.
Could have approved Jak and Daxter.
I mean, I would have taken that.
Yeah. You would have kicked Sackboy out immediately if it was about getting Jak Daxter back.
I love Sackboy. All right, put respect on the hundreds of hours I poured into create mode. I was there, John.
I'm talking about Big Adventure, the PS5 release.
I really
release that definitely no one played.
Unfortunately I didn't spend a lot of time with it, which sucks, but I liked it for the little spurts that I jumped into it.
Yeah, it was the co-op was fun. I will say that we played co-op on it quite a bit. I think come out for the PS4. That's right. It was a cross-gen game.
It sure was. I was mad because the physical PS4 version was the only one that got the plush. I'm like, what the fuck? Bullshit. That thing was in stock for the longest time on PlayStation Direct. Nobody bought the PS4 version of that game. Nobody.
Did you have it though? You have it?
No, because I'm not going to buy the PS4 version just to get the plush.
That's like a collector's item.
Plus, I already have some right there. This one right there.
There you go.
I think that was the LBP2 one. I think LBP3 one's like somewhere else.
Maybe that's one of the PC games that broke them.
That game did fucking terrible on PC.
It did really bad on PC. Yeah, it did. No one.
That game did
on PC.
I mean, who's playing that on PC? Yeah.
It's apparently at one point in time, 732 people, and that was the max.
Oh, geez. All right, we got to move on. We have some sales estimates because I was on the sales topic here for Sons of Sparta. So my next sales story was marathon sales. Because John, listen, but in context, right? Sons of Sparta probably did well and made money. Marathon's got a steeper hill to climb. According to Alinea Analytics, Bungie has sold 1.2 million copies of the game so far, about 800,000 on Steam, 217,000 on PS5, 133,000 on Xbox, and it's generated 55 billion in gross revenue. And I guess Paul Tassi over at Forbes did some corroboration on this report based on a source, just that's like the ballpark of the sales numbers for the game. But otherwise, yeah, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding this. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a shame. The game itself mechanically is good. The shooting's good. I think the maps are interesting. And I'll play online sometimes with MVG or Nate. They both have the game too. And we'll run a few times with it. And I'm getting close to, I think I'm like level 25 or 26 or something. So I'm high enough level to get into that new level that they dropped, the cryo one. And I just don't have the right loadout for it. You need some really high dollar loadout, and every time I'm like, man, do I really want to run that, potentially die to a bunch of people who are like have really good loadouts? So I haven't experienced that. And the whole idea, there's like a boss that you go in to try to take out, and it's only on the weekends, but it's mechanically sound, so Bungie can still make a good first person shooter. Like, all of that's still there. They just have approached this in a very poor way, and it's unfortunate. So I think it's going to be it's going to be tough. Because what we've learned with live service games is you get that first impression, and sometimes that can carry you for a while. Like Helldivers 2 made an incredible first impression, and I mean, it's almost still carrying them now. Like, people still just, they get hooked on the game and they keep checking back and they play with their friends all the time. And that's what it takes to really like have that launching pad. And I just don't think Marathon's had that launching pad. And I don't know how they get it, because the whole build up this whole time was to get on Marathon, play a bunch, and then eventually they'll release this end game level, and then everyone will play that. The problem is, what they need to work on is stuff to onboard people. Like, they need people, because now they have this end game level that runs on the weekend or something. They have a ranked mode as well. So now they're catering to the 10% of their audience for a game that doesn't exactly have a massive audience right now. And that's really what they've been building out for. So there was discussion around a PvE mode, for example. They might have something there, like where you can go in knowing you're not necessarily going to get taken out by other players, because it does happen a lot. All right. And to me, that's part of the fun, because I do like to literally track down and hunt players in the game. But it's
all right, Predator.
Bad. It's bad. but I get the idea that, hey, PvE would be fun for people who don't necessarily want to worry about other players, and you can do fun stuff with bosses where you can have great loot falling out of bosses. And yes, it kind of turned into a little Destiny then, but that's fine. That's something that I think would be more appealing, because, man, if I got to see another SteamDB chart of Marathon on social media, my gosh. It's like going back to like what, Calculus 1 or something. It's like, why are there so many lines all the time? People are drawing like trend lines. I'm like, guys, you actually might have to go outside. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. You might actually have to go outside.
They take it too far. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, but I get the idea of, hey, it's a live service game. It needs players, and according to Paul Tassi, 70% of the players are on Steam, and we can see those numbers. It's like, dude, 19% are on PlayStation. That feels like a problem.
Well, the problem is they recognize full revenue on PlayStation.
Yeah.
You're primarily selling on Steam. You're giving up a lot of money. So the 55 million is not what they're taking home. if their biggest audience is PC by a pretty wide margin. Dude, this game, what's the thing is, right? It's not a Concord or a High Guard where, okay, it failed, you write it off. You sold it. And you sold it like this is not a small amount of copies. It's just not what they needed. So now there's an obligation to, because they have a player base.
Yeah.
It's just based off what I assume is years of Bellevue, Washington salaries. You're probably upside down on this thing.
Do you see the budget that Paul Tassi mentioned?
It's a lot.
200 north of 200 million.
It's that's what I'm saying. Like I think they've got a long road of potentially breaking even and ideally profitability, but they're not. I mean, they definitely don't have it now. But what they do have is almost a liability because what are you going to do? I mean, you sold 1 million copies. People are playing it.
You're stuck. You're right. You can't, like with Concord, as bad as it sounds, so few people bought it. Sony was able to take the game back. You can't do that now because Marathon is in a situation where it's popular enough that they can't do that, but it's not popular enough to where they are arc raiders. Money is everywhere. We're great. And they got to figure something out, man. They got to, instead of, I understand they want to make the end game stuff great. Dude, you got to work on a lot of stuff for people coming into the game, trying to get them to stick with it. So that's, it doesn't look good for Bungie, man. I'll be real. This isn't what I feel like this isn't what Sony thought they were signing up for when they bought them at all. Like the eventual thing was, oh, Marathon will come out. It'll do really well. It's Bungie. Oh, Destiny will keep, chugging along. And dude, Destiny 2 it's ugly. It's in a bad spot right now. So man, this doesn't look good. I don't know what to say. This is what kind of a roadmap? How long do you think they're committed to that? You think this is at least a year, right? For Marathon?
I think a year for sure.
Give it a year, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely a year. And I guess based on where they are a year from now, that'll determine what a year two, if there even is one, would look like. But there's an obligation to the players now. I mean, people have said in chat, like, I feel like you got to do PvE.
Yeah, you'd have because it's worked. It's worked other games. You
sell it. This is a game you sell to people. And if an extraction PvP shooter is already not appealing, you're going to have to just spin up something that's like not the game.
Yeah,
which is PvE. Yeah, I would think, dude, I might engage with it if it's PvE. If you're telling me I can play it and not have you fucking hunting my ass down, like,
okay, well, I don't win all the time, but a fair amount, I'll say. Like, usually we're very aggressive in the game. People are like, hey, what's up? It's over.
I don't need you slinking around in the background.
Okay, I get what you're saying. The paranoia of it. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to like not sugarcoat it. Give me a PvE mode where I feel cool as fuck, and I'm not getting my ass beat. It'll appeal to more people. It will.
You're probably right, because then it actually has, here we go. Genie mentions that PvE turned into looter shooter. People like looter shooters. They do. Especially when you're cool stuff. So,
dude, just throw out the whole principle of you lose your shit too. Do a PvE mode where you're just constantly fucking pouring hundreds of hours into it.
I will say the one thing about this game with the extract shooter in Arc Raiders, there were many times where I would end up teaming up with people, or we just wouldn't engage with PvP. Every time you see someone in Marathon, it is PvP. It is shoot on sight. There is no teamwork. Yeah. One of the biggest things online is, wow, look, no one shot each other here. We all extracted together. I've only seen that once, and that was in that clip. That's all. It's so many times now people are just waiting at these extraction sites for people to come by, and they have cool stuff like snipers, and they just kill you. That's it. You can't even extract in the game sometimes. So they got a lot of things to figure out. I think you're onto something though. That PvE mode, I think would help. I think it would. Mm-hmm. One level PvE, you guys drop in. We'll have some cool bosses in there that you guys can team up and work together to take down. Maybe they let you can queue up with a team of 8 people. Like he's going to matchmaking, and it'll find whatever else you need, fills in everybody. And you guys just go and you take down big world bosses, and You get cool gear. Maybe they have gear that's only used in PvE. They don't even have PvP gear. I don't know. There's something's got to be figured out, though. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Got a few other smaller stories we'll whip out here real quick for PS Studio updates. Death Stranding 2 got a patch for PS5, just getting it content parity with the recent PC version, which if you didn't see, John, it debuted actually really well. It's like a recent single player PC PS Studio game that actually debuted very high. But the PS5 version just got the new difficulty, replayable boss fights, live action cutscenes that were cut, stuff like that. So probably good time to jump in. It's got 21:9 ultra wide on PS5 as well.
Yeah, it's gonna look cool. Oh, on PS5.
Cool. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's on there apparently. So that's out there. This one sucked. I mean, I know you're going to be like, whatever. Firewall Ultra delisted. The game is going offline. So this is their PSVR 2 game from First Contact Entertainment. So the game is shutting down and it's already been delisted. So the way they did this was game's already gone. They updated an old PlayStation blog post from August 2023 to let you know that, hey, the servers are going offline September 17th.
Are we like, we don't have to pretend that PSVR 2 has a lot of people playing it anymore, right? Like, we're good on that, or
I'm just strictly for this game in particular. That sucks dick.
It's a good game, isn't it? Isn't that a good game?
No, I mean, look, we have to be like, the game actually, I believe it was mixed. Like, it wasn't really, well received. No, I mean, so I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, I can't believe you guys did this, but sunset games properly, please. Like, you did the minimum, which is, this is 6 months away, but that deadline means nothing if people can't, like, on a whim go, oh, it's shutting down. Let me go, like, play it real quick. Make it free to play.
How much was the game? Man? Was it like a $40 game or something?
I think 25 or 30. Okay. I think it was more of a premium. It might have been more of a premium title, but you published it. Like, why can't you just make it free? Why would you delist it right away?
That's true. That's true. So the game's just dead now.
Yeah, it's got to be, because it would be only the existing players, and it's already a game that didn't do well. So it's not about like, oh, this game deserves so much better. It's about every game. It doesn't matter what it is. Sunset it properly.
Game preservation.
Yeah. This one was a cool little factoid. It's similar to the Jack and Daxter thing. We found out Firesprite was making a Breaking Bad PSVR game back in 2017. This was a report by MP First based on a small investigation. They discovered the studio was working on this game from 2017 to 2018, and this does predate their merger with SIE. But Firesprite's had a relationship with PlayStation for quite a while because they've worked on Astro's Playroom. So that might better tell you that they've had that sort of working relationship for a while. But yeah, apparently this was the thing. It was going to be more of an experience, so not quite a game. But the series creator, Vince Gilligan, acknowledged it years ago. Like, oh yeah, we're working with Sony Interactive, and game never came out.
That would have been funny.
I was going to say, you a big Breaking Bad fan? Or
I do like Breaking Bad. It was a good show. It was a very good show. Better Call Saul was good too. The El Camino, like run quick series, and this would have been funny. It sounded like it was going to be kind of like cinematic style, sort of like you'll see stuff happening and I guess make decisions or choices, but it'll be more of like a passive game experience, I think is what they were saying. So you just kind of watch different scenes play out. I would have just been curious if it was going to be an original story in that universe that maybe played out alongside of like the main events that happened in the series, or if you were just going to like literally reenact some of the stuff that happened in that series. So that'd have been the only question I would have had. But man, what an interesting idea, I guess. I don't know. Breaking Bad VR.
Yeah. And that was like the thing back then, is that a lot of games weren't even games. They were like experiences.
Yeah, I guess somebody just said, nah, we're not gonna have a VR game where you make meth.
Yeah, you think that would have been it? Like just actually cooking it and shit?
I mean, they had to have been like, come on, guys, can we just make a mini game with the VR stuff, and the person just makes like meth in the blue crystal meth in the RV car, RV.
All right. Well, I didn't think it was going to take us this long to get to the story. I wasn't trying to save it for this long, but yeah, let's cover the big news. Sony has shut down another PlayStation studio. This one is Dark Outlaw Games, which, I mean, it's a fascinating one. The recap for people is that Jason Blundell, he worked with Dave Anthony at Deviation Games, brand new studio, whole big ambitious thing. PlayStation signs that game on. It's an external studio, but Jason eventually leaves. He doesn't like the direction of where that game's going. SIE brings him in. He also poaches a lot of former Deviation staff. And as all that's going on, Deviation can't find another publisher, so they close. But Jason's under SIE. We know it's a new studio. Last year is when they finally acknowledged it. So Jason Blundell was allowed to say on Jeff Gerstmann's podcast, of all things, that, yeah, I'm here. I've got a new studio. Then PlayStation officially acknowledged it with a website, and they gave it a logo and everything. But they still didn't really say anything. The only other thing we have is that from the last business segment briefing, during like a bunch of those slides, their game was on there, and they were listed as multi-genre. So it's like evolving multi-genre. That's all we ever knew about the game. That was a year ago. Now they're shut down. And we did hear from Jason himself and also JC, where they're a content creator. They do streaming and stuff like that. So they recently talked about this on his live stream. It was like a 2-hour long conversation. They can't really say anything. Their hands are tied. They're NDA'd up the ass. All they really said is like, hey, we get it. It's a business, tough decisions, yada, yada. They were really proud of it. They also said it wasn't live service.
Yeah, that got me. I was like, oh, wait, yeah. Brian and I kind of thought it was live service.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that it's where were they really? Because they couldn't have strictly been live service. They weren't categorized as such anyway. But multi-genre kind of implies that maybe it would have been a more evolving game. Maybe they had a sort of ambitious pitch or something. It's really tough to say because they're not going to say anything about it. But they basically just said, hey, it's not live service, but we get it. No hard feelings or whatever the case is. I'm sure they're just going to not try to burn bridges because surely they got to be upset. It sucks. And it sucks for Jason because like the dude also said like, yeah, this is 2 studios for me. With Deviation, it doesn't work out. Also, he actually clarified he wasn't a co-founder at Deviation. He was an employee. So that was all Dave Anthony. Yeah. So he left there. Then SIE brings him in. They give him some money. Year goes by. I guess they kill it. That sucks.
Is this once again the, I guess, result of changing leadership with Nishino versus, I guess, Herman Holst?
I don't know well, that's the thing. We can keep saying, oh, Nishino. Herman's had the same job for a long time now.
Yeah.
I know it's easy to like, and I totally get it. Like placate, blame, F Herman Holst. Like there are other things he's doing that's like conceivably good. I'm not saying this is good, just that these are likely still his decisions. I'm inclined to say this has just got to be like another really stringent, like cost cutting thing. Like, oh, it's going to take 5-6 years to put out whatever this is.
Right. But I feel like we were talking about like a year ago where this started to form and spin up. I had to imagine that a competent person greenlighting them spinning this up would know that the game isn't going to be ready for several years.
Well, I think, John, it was, and this is my speculation, I would think it's based on milestones.
Sure.
Which I mean, like nobody knows until it happens. So you give them a conditional green light. Yeah. PlayStation values talent. So Jason is very much that. Give him some money. He starts making a team and you watch the progress. So I never want to like place blame or make it sound like the little guy is at fault here because that sucks and people losing their jobs suck. It's just that I would have to think it's just like they must not have met a milestone or something.
Sure.
That makes sense. We gave you some money and nothing's happening or what you sold us on, now we're getting a better picture of like what it's going to cost. And that's where we can't do it anymore. I don't know. It's got to be a cutthroat thing. Like if there's no other way to spin it.
That's true. It's unless we'd have to see the game or the progress they made to really get an idea as to what happened here. That's the problem. Like you said, there's just NDAs everywhere and he's being so vague about it because he's not trying to get in trouble or burn a bridge. But I saw a lot of people speculating that it was like a zombies game, like it was a first person shooter style game like that. And I will say, if it was a zombies game, I'm sure people would be excited, be like, it's zombies. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I guess zombies. People do like zombies from the old days of like Black Ops and stuff. I get that, but I'd be like, the zombies. Okay.
I'm curious if it was basically like a certain, like a different version of that like Gooby monster game. Not to say it's like exactly that, but I'm curious if that's like maybe there's like a jumping off point that they wanted to accomplish or something. It's like all speculation. It's hard to say.
Let's get real for a minute. What kind of milestone does Fair Games have to miss to get canceled? Every time I see one of these closures, I'm asking questions about the games around this, the studios around it.
It's a fair question. That just, I don't know, dude. Like that, the only things we can mention is like they're in Montreal, so they get tax breaks, and then Mark Cerny was working with Haven for like a bunch of like developing games in the cloud. I don't know how valuable that reasonably is. Like if they close tomorrow, it's like, oh, there it is.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. We're seeing all this other stuff happen around them, and we're like, I don't get it. I mean, I guess because we've seen it. If we didn't see their game, Haven, and it was Fair Games, we'd be like, they must be working on something cool. Problem is, we've seen the game, and we're like, what? Eventually, something's going to happen. Or like Media Molecule, that always comes up. They come up constantly about this. I guess because they've won like BAFTA awards and stuff. They have like some prestige to them. But Dreams was Dreams, you know? And that's the problem is whenever these weird, like out of left field, Blue Point was a big one. This one's head scratchy just because that's twice for Jason Blundell. And while Sony didn't shut down Deviation Games, technically, them pulling the funding, I mean, they were basically shutting down then, you know, after that. So they're kind of responsible for that. 2 studios he's involved with going away twice. It's like, man, they saw what Deviation was doing. And then they decide, no, you know what? Pulling funding from that. But we want to make another studio with you. And then fast forward a year, he's like, here's the thing. it's just, I don't know. It seems weird. It seems like it's all over the place.
Yeah, but John, like I feel like people totally miss that this happens a lot. Like this is not a new, like Shuhei did this all day, every day. Like I think we're just getting a little bit short-sighted on how normal this is. I don't ever want to advocate for like closures and people losing their jobs. I'll still be like, really, I think Blue Point was stupid and crazy. I get it. I get where people are coming from, but this reads to me kind of like your run of the mill. They were given some money. It didn't go anywhere kind of thing. And that was Shuhei's wheelhouse for over a decade. It's anybody's wheelhouse for over a decade when they oversee projects. You greenlight something, give them some time. To me, the management problems start to creep in of like, you gave them too much money and it never went anywhere, or you really believed in a bad product, you know, like.
But that's recurring for Herman Hulst. That's why.
But John, this is what I'm like. It's so easy to like say, oh, it's happened a lot with Herman. Okay, good stuff happened under Herman too. Now, again, to evaluate Herman, I think, yeah, like at this point, I would much prefer to have somebody else step in. I just don't want us to lose sight of like, oh, it's been nothing but X, Y, and Z bad things. Killing games is a normal industry thing. Like it just is. Like reasonably speaking, killing games early is like financially disciplined leadership. So I'm not saying Herman's doing a fantastic job. I'm just saying like every time a game gets canceled or something, we can't act like it's, you know, the worst thing that happened out there. Sometimes that's just how it goes.
Did you see the list that Push Square put together?
Yeah, we've followed all of them.
The studio. Yeah, I'm noticing that. Yeah. It's like, man, we're making lists now that this generation, it's been this generation because they went all the way back to 2020. But they could have really just start in like 2023. The last 2.5 years is like Pixel Opus, London Studio, Firewall Games, Neon Koi, Blue Point, and now Dark Outlaw Games. It's like, man, Sony really is just shedding a lot of and look, we're thinking they might close another 1 or 2 this year at this rate because we're asking about Haven, you know. So
yeah,
I mean, they're just shedding studios like crazy this generation.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest issue is just like the current economics of games. Because like, yeah, like cancellations do happen, but they've got to be way more stringent now, which is why they just like completely walk away from a Blue Point or pretty much all the things that have happened the past 5 years. You know, it's got to be because budgets are 9 figures now, and it takes 7 something years to make a game.
That's true.
For all, like, maybe Dark Outlaw's pitch was a game that makes sense today, but it's not going to get made today. It's going to get made in what's 2026.
Yeah, it'll be made for the PS6 probably.
2032, a 2033 game. I mean,
yep.
it's just really tough to say. Like the games are expensive and everybody's canceling shit left and right. That doesn't make it okay, obviously. Just that I think that's the environment we're in. It's like stuff's gonna get shut down. It blows.
Should have pitched a Horizon first person shooter. I probably would have got through for Herman. You would have got that to the finish line with him. I've just been curious to see what they were working on, really. Like, just like, here's our vision. All right. I've just been curious. So
I'd love to know what it was. Yeah.
How many? So we were kind of kicking around the idea of them having something multiplayer related or live service related. How many live service games does Sony even have in the works now? I mean, we're talking about Marathon as if it's already dead. It's not, obviously, but it's that's still at least rolling along. It's just, if we talked about how there's like this changing strategy, it seems like they're also moving away from mobile, because part of that, Jason Schreier mentioned that they were kind of backing away from that as well.
For the wait, what did you say? Mobile?
For mobile, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that might
live service and mobile, like backing away.
No, I mean, that might also be like a short-term Nishino thing too. It's hard to say. We've talked about this like plenty of times now. ClickR3 has been around long enough. You know, like it's like
43
episodes. With the mobile stuff, live service stuff, you have no position in these spaces. The best way to do it is get people that know how to do it, invest and build and release. I think PlayStation has now found themselves in a position of where we've tried both of these things. It's a lot harder than how we typically make games, which is single player, and single player on their own are running into unsustainability problems because those budgets are 9 figures. I think it all kind of came to a head. I think they're going to be way pickier about what they greenlight, what direction they go in. We do have new leadership, so I think he's probably, you know, keeping his head down on like what they're good at.
Yep.
And I think for a lot of hardcore fans, like it's probably like finally.
I think so too.
Like, yeah, finally. Yeah. And that was actually Shuhei's methodology for the live service games, or the sort of like why he resisted it, or why they did stop doing multiplayer games after PlayStation 3, because they sort of submitted to the idea of, oh, other people are doing it and they've got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I do. I think that's a good strategy. Let the third parties figure it out. We'll just take you guys' money as you run through our store. Honestly, that's it. And maybe they get 1 or 2. They got a Helldivers 2 right now, and maybe they just keep looking for the other.
I think they like, it's not going away, but I think they're going to be like way pickier.
Yeah. Like
I think for years to come, we'll probably hear, oh, here's a new thing they're trying. Yes, it's going to be live service, and it's just going to be super conditional on, oh, it's killed, and it gets killed in a year. And that's like just a very diligent, prudent way to do business.
Yeah, that just seems concerning, because eventually you're like, is Sony going to kill this thing if I get into this? I eventually start having that mindset going. So, I mean, I'd like to see them get a couple of live service games and then go, all right, we're good. But you're probably right in that they're just going to keep going. They're just going to keep trying. I don't know. Maybe they just get creative with it more and more as they go. So 4 loops coming though. 4 loops coming.
It's about what they do in the next 5 years. Because I would think
they have Team LFG as well. Thanks, Reddick.
Yeah, but that's an incubation team too, or at least it was. So
they took them from Bungie at least.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, they're way pickier now. So it's tough to say. Like, this is the case I always made about the 12 live service games fiscal year 2025. Dude, I still stand by this point. Do you want all 12 to come out and they suck ass? Or do you kill them before they go? Like,
you kill them before they get out there, and you sell 1 million copies like Bungie, and now you're stuck.
Dude, I will stand by this point. It's the best worst outcome. It's not a good outcome. It's the best worst one. You kill games and move on.
I think that's right here, reforming as Asobi. Just talking about Team Asobi. They, with how the budgets are right now, man, Sony really might want to think more and more about developing out of places like Japan more, like really building up in Japan. Or it's just cheaper to make games.
Yeah, well, look what happened with Blue Point.
Yeah, well, they might want to think about, I think Team Asobi and other studios forming in Japan for Sony. That might be a good idea as well. Just saying.
I think you keep trying to find talented teams globally. It's just like, unfortunately, it would suck that they would maybe deliberately be like, oh shit, like the studios in California. Ooh.
I mean, hey, when Jay Schreier mentioned the $300 million plus budgets that are getting thrown around, sometimes more, he's like, yeah, most of it's just salary for devs. And hey, if you want to, if you want to develop in California, guess what? It's really expensive. So, and then you see Crimson Desert, South Korea. It's like not as expensive to develop for. You hear about Team Asobi and their smaller budget for Astrobot. It's like, oh,
well, you try to find a Sandfall Interactive.
That's too.
That's what you try and do. Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, the Dark Outlaw sucks. It definitely doesn't. Optically, it definitely looks really bad on the company, no doubt.
The optics are bad, yes. I mean, it's just when you start building a list for studios that they shut down in a generation, it's not good optically now. But
it's tough. This wasn't directly PlayStation news, but like you mentioned it earlier, I mean, I feel like we would be remiss to not acknowledge the DLSS 5 thing.
Oh, so yeah.
We missed. Yeah, I mean that. So that was a whole thing, obviously. So it's coming out this fall. It's real time neural rendering. They put out this video. Publishers are on there like Bethesda, Capcom, NetEase, Ubisoft, WB Games. They all signed off on it, and they were included in the reveal video. The founder and CEO of NVIDIA said this is their GPT moment of graphics.
Great line right there. The GPD moment. Oh man, it's just the guy whose entire multi-trillion-dollar company relies on the use of AI is telling you that DLSS 5 is just fine.
The intended goal, John, is enhanced lighting beyond what path tracing can accomplish. And the underlying geometry of the game is not being changed. It's the same geometry and texture assets. However, we saw some before and afters, and they're basically changing the faces of most of these character models.
Yeah, see, the problem is we have eyes. That's the problem. Yeah, like if we didn't have eyes, they could tell us that. But
okay, but John, you're wrong. He actually quote, well, first of all, they're completely wrong. You're wrong, John.
Oh man, that Jensen Huang said that.
Yeah, you said you're completely wrong. Quote, the reason for that is because, as I've explained very carefully, DLSS 5 fuses controllability of the geometry and textures and everything about the game with generative AI. That sounds much better.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Right. They're saying a lot to tell me that it doesn't look as bad as what my eyes tell me it looks. I'm sorry, man. Some of those shots are crazy. With the Grace, obviously the Grace one is hilarious. Because
the Grace Ashcroft,
that didn't change anything. Meanwhile, she grows lipstick and mascara. It's okay. All right. Whatever you say there, NVIDIA. You need two 5090s to run the thing, and look, it'll be.
I said one. They said a one-on-one.
You need one to do the lighting change, and then the other one runs the game, sure, but it's going to be optional for now. I'm saying for now. If this is something that NVIDIA pushes on developers more and more, and they're like, oh, this is easier, guess what? AMD will try to follow them. It'll be worse somehow, and who knows what it's going to do to people's faces then. But which also means it'll eventually probably work its way into a PlayStation 7 at some point down the line. And the point is, ray tracing kind of started out as this like fun, you turn it on, you click it off. They did the whole swipe thing too, and it's like, you know what? It looks more like a mirror cool. And now we have games that are just built specifically on ray tracing. So they got. If it looked, I will say this, if it looked good, I think it would have gone over a lot better. Yes. So I think people be like, oh, cool, this is the future. It just, It looked bad. I don't know what it just looked bad. Like there's no other way to put it. Some people do think it looks good.
No, but
And I had to go on 1-800-CONTACTS and stuff. I had to double check my prescription. I was like, man, I must be losing it right now.
No, they showed it thinking it looked good. That's they wouldn't announce it otherwise.
Right.
They probably put that video together and went, damn, we cooked. People, they're going to be impressed.
So NVIDIA, I get, is going to try to be like, hey guys, look how great this looks. My real concern is Capcom was like, hey guys, look how great this looks. Specifically is because, it's like an executive or something. Capcom, apparently a lot of the developers found out when we found out. So imagine being the person who worked on that character model and the swipe comes by and you're like, oh no, what happened? The executives there, I'm sure at Capcom are thinking, oh, easier development. Ooh, more money, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it's a big moral and ethical problem because everyone signed off on it, but okay, like senior leadership did, not the artist that made that model, not the face talent or the actor that did the mocap. Like they didn't sign, like morally, that they didn't sign off on their face getting changed.
Not morally, but contractually they did. That's the problem. It's like they signed it away.
You're right. Yeah, I mean it's been said everywhere for like over a week now. Big fucking problem. This is awful. I don't know if you saw it, John. I mean, like Mark Cerny rarely uses his Twitter account. And the day that happens, he tweets out multiple screenshots of PSSR 2. And then AMD's Jack Hune also did it too. That seemed kind of deliberate to me. Man, maybe it was just a scheduled thing. I don't know. Because like the thing, you would hope that they look at that and go, oh shit, we can take this opportunity here to come out looking like the good guy.
Well, it's because all they're doing is people do this weird thing where like that's AI and that's AI and it's like same kind of thing. The idea of PSSR or DLSS up to this point, which does DLSS 5 even is that even DLSS? Like it's the whole idea was this whole time was it's going to upscale the image, it's going to look cleaner, but it's not going to natively render that frame, so the performance will not take as much of a hit. And that was kind of always the idea. Maybe there's latency involved or something, but it's getting better. That's all. Like, just make the games look cleaner, crisper, as Mark Cerny says. Not change the whole thing. So, I don't know. It's like when they showed Grace, again, is the big one. Starfield, I think, had people a little less like, oh, okay, this looks bad, because to be honest, the Starfield NPCs already look kind of bad. So, I mean, let's be real. They're not exactly like amazing looking as it is. So I think that there was one scene though that, I mean, that's just not Bethesda's strong suit with like NPCs. They're better at like the world building, but there was one scene where you had a guy and then a girl and they were he was holding something, and people were noticing when they zoom in that the swipe went by and like he grew hair and had like a larger nose, and like I thought this was lighting. That scene, funny enough, with what they did there, reminded me of the old like Killzone 2 PS3 demo. The way that some of them looked.
Oh my god, if they applied it to Killzone Shadowfall, it would look like Killzone 2 in 2005.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Oh no. That's the problem with it though, is that it doesn't have, it's actually a detriment to this technology. It doesn't have the underlying information of the layers and the mesh, and so that's why it's like assuming what people should look like, and it's straight up changing their goddamn faces. The whole thing is terrible.
Apparently, it just really goes by the frame itself. Like it takes the frame and then it does the little Instagram filter on it, and it doesn't seem to have knowledge of stuff outside of that frame. So that's why all of a sudden, when you look at that shot of Grace, that's the most egregious. She's on a dimly lit street. So you would expect her face to be flat, like not a lot of light on it. So when the swipe goes by and all of a sudden there's a 3-point lighting system just off camera for her, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. And that's why I think people are doing this thing where they're like, what is this? Like they're having a hard time understanding what they're seeing.
That's the thing. It's a lighting. It's supposed to enhance lighting. Okay. Well, it doesn't know that like interior shots, which if it's whether it's screen space reflections or baked lighting, like that still understands how the space should look. And this is just flat applying the filter, and It's getting lighting wrong. That's what it
Yeah.
should be doing. It should.
I think it's adding lighting for the sake of lighting because it needs there to be lighting for it to exist. There'd be a reason for it to exist. You know, it needs to justify its existence with light.
It's just like a really ugly, high contrast, very much AI synthetic look, and it sucks ass.
Oh, you know what's interesting? How about this? Do you think it would have got the same reaction, okay, that it got when you're online and you see everyone just go, ooh, what happened here? Do you think it would have got that same reaction if we haven't had 2 to 3 years of these AI image generated video filter things that go around? You think if this is like the first time we've seen this, it's new. Do you think we would have had that same visceral reaction? Because I do wonder if we've kind of been trained as the AI filter or AI face that we've seen to be more and more annoyed at it as we've gone along.
Mm-hmm. What you're proposing, yeah. If this was like the first time we saw it, I think people would go ape shit and think it was amazing. Because when we did get AI generated photos, everyone thought it was cool as shit, and it was really impressive, and it was amazing. Oh my God, I can't believe Will Smith looks like this. I mean, he looks like a nightmare, and spaghetti doesn't look like that, but it's pretty incredible. We thought it was cool back then. So, I mean, what you're proposing, yeah, I think people would actually be impressed if that was like the first time we saw it. But what I think is great is that there's actually been really good, you know, and like the public's pretty well informed on what this technology does, and you know how it can definitely be morally and ethically wrong and just flat out gross in a lot of cases. So I'm happy that we're in this timeline, which is weird to say. Usually I shouldn't be.
Turning on AI. Just make the image look crisper. That's all. I think that's what most people want.
What would we look like with DLSS 5 on? I'm hoping I look like Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Interesting. Yeah. That's where you went to right away.
I just become Spider-Man. I'll take that.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
He's got nothing yet.
Do you have a 5090? I don't.
You'll be shocked to learn I don't have one.
We at least need a 5090. Won't work.
We have one more big industry bad news, John. You definitely talked about this. Epic Games. 1,000 layoffs. Because get this, they're losing money on Fortnite. Epic says they've seen a downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2005, and because of that, they're spending, quote, significantly more than what we're making, end quote. The company identified over $500 million of cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing open roles. All affected employees are getting 4 months minimum of severance payment. We also have this quote here from Tim Sweeney, the CEO, where he says, quote, some of the challenges we're facing is industry-wide. We're facing industry-wide challenges, slower growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics, current consoles selling less than last generations, and games competing for time against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment, end quote. What do you think?
I think the once almighty invincible Fortnite maybe isn't so invincible. That's what it sounds like.
Bold words.
It sounds like. Although I will say, Epic Games has certainly tested its invincibility by making some of the worst management decisions I've seen in a long time. I mean, it's actually incredible what they've done.
Yeah.
Did you read the rest? The funny part is, as you go through that, they do this thing where they go, we stood in front of the big mean Apple company for everyone else. That's why this is happening. But we'll be back on phone soon, guys. Don't worry, because we won and we took it to them. And it's like, all right.
All right, settle down.
It's because they fought this long court battle with Apple about, well, we don't want to pay 30% to them, even though we're on their platform and we use their storefront. We don't do that. So one day they just showed up and they just stopped taking payments through the Apple store. They like went around it completely. So Apple kicked them off, obviously, and it turned the whole thing that has cost them, hundreds of millions of dollars for the court case. According to, I think, Tim Sweeney himself, he's like estimating probably like $1 billion over 4 years of not being on the Apple store. And then what do they say? They're trying to cut back $500 million. It's like, oh, so half of what you lost by not being on the, okay. So just checking, because you think about it, you're like, man, if they just stayed on, you think the employees really care if if Epic was getting 30% or not? No, they were like, we need a lot of people to play this game, so how about we just keep giving them 30%? That's it. It's, you know what, the thing that is interesting, he did kind of throw Fortnite under the bus a bit there, saying engagement's down. He's not actually wrong though. Fortnite engagement is kind of down. And when I say it's down, it's like, oh, it's 110 million monthly active users instead of 125. But it's like, it's not nothing. You start losing 15 million. You start losing 10 million. All of a sudden, you're under 100 million monthly active users. And it's not like Fortnite is doing anything that different right now that would keep people interested beyond the idea of maybe it being a social experience where they jump on with their friends. Fortnite hasn't really been that exciting for a while. Because the way I can kind of tell, I don't follow Fortnite, but occasionally when something really big happens, you start to see it go viral a bit online because there's some wacky or stupid crossover that happens and it makes no sense. But people are like, hey, this is like when they put Springfield in Fortnite. That was a big deal. That was cool. People were talking about it. But typically I don't see Fortnite invade the timeline much. So,
well, I mean,
what do you do?
Anytime I ever hear about Fortnite, it's completely unsolicited. So, yeah.
And I mean, here's the thing that should terrify these companies with their live service ambitions, like Sony, yes, but like any of these companies with the live service ambitions, dude. Fortnite has a lot of people to play that game, and they dump a lot of money into it. But man, it costs a fortune to keep it running like this. I mean, an incredible amount of money, an incredible amount of talent. All the developers almost in the world on this thing. Epic Games, they attract top tier talent because they pay a lot of money, but man, it takes a lot. It does. They're doing these acquisitions. They're doing these big deals, Disney and stuff. And that's how we find out that their valuation of the company was overblown. And really it was like $22 billion instead of 30 billion, like they were saying. That would worry me. I'd be like, hold on a minute. Fortnite is, maybe not as profitable as we were thinking initially.
Well, I wouldn't even begin to pretend to know the economics of a game like that. Because it's
massive.
It's an outlier too. Because this is one of the black hole games, and there's only a few of those that can that have this business model. I just think it's just, how irresponsible could this look that you have like the golden goose, and okay, like engagement's down, but you gotta lay 1,000 fucking people off. And if we want to humor the idea that you shouldn't have had that many people on staff, okay, you hired them.
Some of these people have been around for a while there, Ryan. They're not like, it's
not,
they laid off the entry level person they hired 7 months ago or something. It's like, these are people that have been there for years and years and years, like top level artists or, designers. It was very awkward and weird to see that pop up, that they were let go for what you would assume to be people you would rally around the game and be like, all right, guys, let's come up with a really good idea for the next season. Let's dig in and make this work. It's like, no, they fired those people. So that seems weird.
You're right. Yeah. I saw a lot of that, like long-standing employees got shown the door.
It made it onto the subreddit. I was looking at the Reddit. I was like, let me see what the temperature is here. And they're pointing out people that they're like, we know these people. We know these developers, right?
Well, let me see what the temperature is here.
I got to see but I'm not that, this is what I do though. I'm not that familiar with some of these games or Fortnite or what have you. So, you got to do some research, got to look into it. Yeah. And I don't know if I've ever really seen that, but the Reddit was like, man, we lost Evan or something, Steve or something. It's like, what? Like they know, but they've been following these designers for years on this game that's been around for 8 years, but they've been following them. And it's like, man, they know these people by name. The people getting laid off is like, man, what did Epic do here? What is this?
No shit.
God, I know. I was surprised. I was like, geez, they know them. But if you think about it, Fortnite, people who are really into it, there are people who, it sounds weird, but grew up with Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like, came out in it made the move to Battle Royale in like 2017 or whatever. But people forget 2017 was like 9 years ago. There's been 8
Yeah.
years of people maybe growing up with it. So they picked it up middle school, beginning high school, and now they're in the workforce.
Someone could have been 11 and now they're 20. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you think about it that way and you go, man, that really is someone's retro game in like 10 years. They'll be like, "How remember the old days of playing Fortnite?"
Remember Tomato Town?
Yeah, right. So that's the thing that's so interesting about this is these games, if the new generation coming up, they say, hey, engagement's down because people are watching TikTok and shorts and they're playing Roblox. There's a chance you get phased out and you're not one of those forever games for long. And you know what the ramification of that is, Ryan? We've talked about this with Sony. I look, I know they say they've had the best generation in terms of money, right? We know where that money's coming from.
Yeah.
If Fortnite
it's got to come from somewhere
and like actually went away in a couple of years, it's big enough for me to wonder like what's Sony's strategy here. Like it does turn into that where I go, ooh, okay, what's Sony's move here?
Well, you got to ask yourself, the time and money goes somewhere. Does it leave PlayStation or does it just move to something else? Does Roblox become bigger? Because that was the big metric from 2025 is that a lot of the global growth in games is coming from two places: games in China and then Roblox.
Right.
Those the two big ones. Everything else super stagnant. So I would think they're going to watch metrics very closely. And if that time and money is leaving PlayStation, then yeah, that's the problem. A big problem. For now, they've got Roblox, but
I don't think Roblox makes any money though.
Yeah, it makes money.
I think they lose money.
Well, like we're talking PlayStation with like store
right. PlayStation will make money from it, but I'm saying like I don't even know. Roblox, I get is big right now, and like they went public and everything. They concern me a little bit with all the stuff they go through, right? But when I hear they don't make money and they're a big live service game, it's like how green is the grass on that side, really?
Well, that circles back to the Fortnite thing. I won't pretend to know the economics of a game.
Right. It's just, but that's the thing though. They don't have to tell people. They're like Epic Games is not this big public company that's running around reporting constantly or anything. So how do you know?
You draft up a statement like Tim Sweeney did and say, guys, we're losing money. So we have to get rid of 1,000 people. Yeah.
I mean, they're a private company. They probably should have gone public when Fortnite was going crazy a few years ago. And they didn't, so they missed it because they even closed down modes. Did you see that?
Closed down what?
Modes in Fortnite. They're shutting them down. There's like one that's the racing one, Rocket Racing.
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, they're shutting down modes, and I saw that. I said, "Wow, that's 3 modes they're shutting down." They are shutting down Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage. 3 modes getting shut down. That's they're shutting down. The Counter-Strike copy. Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've done
Counter-Strike 1. Yes. So, hey, good luck to Fortnite. All I got to do is get another weird and wacky collaboration. That's all it takes.
Heart goes out to everyone affected by layoffs.
They did say that Unreal Engine 6 is most likely going to debut at the end of this year.
Oh, good for them.
I mean, that's going to affect the next PlayStation. So,
I mean, it's going to affect the next swath of most third-party games.
Yeah. So that'll be something to at least keep an eye on because that's what we've known Epic Games to be until Fortnite came around. Man, what's the alternate timeline where they never made the Fortnite Battle Royale?
Probably being primarily a game engine company, right?
No, I mean just Fortnite's so big it affected all of gaming. Let's be real.
Like the actual ripple effect of all?
Yeah. What's the alternate timeline? Anyone in chat? What's it look like?
Well, there still are black hole games, just not Fortnite.
But how many of them came after PUBG and then Fortnite, because they saw Fortnite replicate PUBG, and they were like, "Oh, well, we can do that too." Like PUBG was kind of this anomaly, but Fortnite, I think, really showed up and was like, "Hey, we'll add pop culture reference. We'll do all this stuff with it."
You're right. That's
I
tough to
don't
say.
know. I'm not sure. And here's the other question: do you think a timeline where Fortnite never happened is is a better timeline or not?
I mean, I want to say yes, but it's like you're proposing a butterfly effect. That might be a timeline where I die, and
Well, that's true.
I can't get behind that.
I think that's a timeline where I don't know. What do you think Sony's PS5 generation would look like without Fortnite? Without the Fortnite effect?
Probably similar, but maybe you actually got a bunch of single player games from the studios that shut down. I don't know.
There it is. There it is. The live service initiative never happened.
I mean, well, no, maybe, but like dude, that's really tough to say because reasonably speaking, major events like
I didn't even think of that. I didn't line up the timeline. PUBG was only on PC at the time. Oh,
yeah, well, that changes
that's
things.
True.
But John, so reasonably speaking, like when a major event, if we're proposing a major event doesn't happen, something fills its place. So I think the alternate timeline is something big does happen. It's just not Fortnite.
Really? You think there's another game that comes in and basically does what is just another Fortnite and takes place?
Maybe it doesn't look like Fortnite or play like it, or even maybe it doesn't become a huge cultural movie tie-in IP. I don't know, but like I think something comes in and changes the landscape.
You know what the other ripple effect would be though? Fortnite is so big and brings so much money and capital that Unreal Engine became very, very approachable. Like they do some pretty good terms for Unreal Engine to where you don't have to pay them until your game's out for so many months. You make so much money. Even for smaller creators, they were doing everything possible to just make it easy to develop for. I don't think it would have been I don't think they would have been that favorable then, because Unreal Engine would have been the thing that would have had to make them all the money. So we wouldn't have had probably as widespread adoption, I feel like, for Unreal Engine either.
That's tougher to say because Unreal was already kind of really growing.
It was, but it was like we see indie developers use Unreal Engine. There's like a bunch of people use it. I don't know if it would have gone like super small creator level. I think it would have still been like AAA Unreal Engine. It's gonna be more like that still.
Yeah, mate. Well, it also depends on what Unity was doing at the time.
Yeah,
because Unity was making some bad calls pretty much during the height of like Fortnite really blowing up.
But I like how we're to the point where even people in the chat are admitting that Fortnite's existence was like it's almost like what if the Dreamcast was successful? It's like that. It's like that level of game, like that fork in the road for gaming. It's that serious. It's that big of a moment.
It is. It definitely is. But picturing a world without it is so difficult, I think. I feel like something big would still step in. It wouldn't have been a Fortnite, but I think it would have really changed things in perhaps just a different way.
Maybe a better way.
Maybe, but I don't want to die, John. That's the butterfly effect. Maybe there's a timeline where I was talking about Fortnite with somebody and that saved me from a car accident. But if it's not there,
it's true.
I don't know. I don't know anything. I really don't.
There you go. We'll see what happens with Fortnite year over year. Because you got to wait forever for those numbers to come
in. John, you want to do some of the chats we got?
I will grab those now. You want to queue up we have any other topics? You want to queue up your PSX, go and give it to you?
I wrote down this one, but I feel like it's just not even necessary. Starfield's coming to PS5, confirmed.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Are you going to play Starfield?
April 7th. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay. Here we go. This is, all right, no, scroll down further. Okay. Here we go. Real Radic says, "Watch how you speak about Sackboy PS5, John." Hey, I'd say there was a problem with Sackboy. I'm just saying it was a forgettable game for a lot of people.
You're already doing revisionist history within a podcast time frame.
I'm saying it's not as. Hey, look, if I say you're not as good as Mario 3D World, that's basically like, hey, you're not as good as that 90+ rated game or something.
I said it was like it, and you're like, it just principally on gameplay. I was like, oh, it's like it, and you went as if it's not the same gameplay. All right.
There's no Tanuki suit there. Come on. Let's see. Here we go. I'm still holding out hope for the Connecticut game. What if there's a Connecticut Easter egg in there? Do I get any credit?
Nope.
Okay.
None.
Street says, honestly, even if the price goes up, GTA 6 will still be a system seller. Take it to the bank.
I think if that happens, you're going to get memes about how people have to whore themselves to buy cards to play that game.
It might be. GTA 6 will still sell systems, yeah, because it's going to come out around the holiday season anyway. It's gonna be November, and then we're going right into Christmas and holidays, and people just put stuff on credit cards then, and just they figure it out. So Bespoke says, "Don't worry, Xbox will save us from this bad PlayStation news anyway now, as they always do." Well, maybe some good Xbox news will come out tomorrow. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Is that what's going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Bespoke says, I mean, everyone played Last of Us 2 and Ghost on PS4, and they came out a few months before PS5. Box art banner for PS6 games will be classic gray PS Portal Edge.
I'm going dark blue. I'm going navy blue. But yes, we all played those games on PS4.
The Street says, I don't see PlayStation shutting down Marathon. It's not a Concord level failure. Sony hasn't reacted that way ever. It's popular enough to fix, but not enough to coast as is. Destiny 3 must already be in flight. Oh, man. People are kind of mad at Marathon because it's also not Destiny 3. So it's man, everything's working against Marathon. So I think they at least got a year on that thing though. So
yeah, it's like somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Spoke says, food for thought. If we compare roles between PlayStation and Xbox, Jim Nishino is Phil and Herman is Booty. So why does nobody ever blame Booty like we do Herman for acquisition closers? What if we should be blaming Nishino? Oh, people throw Matt Booty under the bus constantly.
Dude, Matt Booty gets a ton of criticism. He's been constantly criticized as falling forward for all the jobs he's had over the years.
That happens a lot. Like, he's failing upwards. That's what I always hear about Matt Booty.
Yeah.
He deals with he definitely deals more with the games than anything else, the studios. But even then, Phil was dealing with a lot of the games and studios as well. So while Matt Booty was in charge of that, it was kind of always, well, Phil Spencer's right there with him. We don't really see Nishino or we just see Herman Hulse now. Like that's a lot of what we hear from. So, well, I mean, he's the front man.
You only see these two during like the most corporate of corporate PlayStation settings.
Yes,
like even state of plays, you don't see them anymore.
No,
Herman's been like straight up reserved to like, you only show your goddamn face during an investor call.
Yes,
or the business segment briefings. Like,
hey, GDC next year, he's still at the company. He's there to flip that 5 into a 6 for PSX. That's happening.
Somebody has to be at CES to show that logo.
It's very important. Very important. Street says the key with Dark Outlaw is they're an incubation team, 20 people. Those projects come and go. Asobi was an Incu proto team inside Japan Studio.
That's part of it too.
I think it was more the formal announcement of Dark Outlaws that throwing people off. Like they made a whole thing about the logo, some of their slides. I think that's really what it was.
Well, we didn't even touch on that. That was the other thing. It's like they were willing to confirm they exist, which at least to me sort of telegraphs the idea of like, this is going somewhere. Because otherwise,
confidence, yeah.
Well, yeah, because otherwise, like like canceling games is normal, but it's always normal under the guise of like it's never official. Like we might hear about a game, but like it's never confirmed. So like that stuff comes and goes all the time.
Street Shadow says live service games left: Tokon, GT, MLB, Helldivers 2, Marathon, Destiny 2. Incoming Hunters, maybe the project that people can fly.
Well, there's Team LFG, which is the frog type game. And then For Loop is a PlayStation Studios game too, technically speaking. And GT is weird. For some reason, like they don't consider it a live service game. It basically is.
It definitely is, yeah.
I don't know why they, yeah.
Toasty says, Ryan, I saw your PS1 collection video. Stop sniffing the foam, you're going to die.
No. I like sniffing the foam. You know what I'm talking about, John?
The foam.
So the long box PS1 games, which are basically Sega Saturn
foam in there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it comes with the foam. And I think multiple times when I was doing that video, I like pulled the foam out and I sniffed it. I was like, oh, it was delicious. Wow. Really smelled very musty, like an attic.
A lot of confidence there that that foam is not laced or something.
No, it lends itself to like 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Toasty says, when a system becomes retro, does every game on the system become retro? If the PS3 is retro, then GTA 5 and Persona 5 are retro.
I mean, obviously it looks a certain way when you phrase it like that.
Well, I think it's because we always go back to when the thing came out, whether it's the game or the system, right? When it came out, that's usually what we mark it as for how old the thing is. So the PS3 is, going to be 20 years old. Persona 5 is not 20 years old. So I think that's, why people look at it that way. But you're right about GTA 5. It went through multiple generations. And, technically, look, we just need Persona 6, okay? And we already have GTA 6 is coming up. Let's get the other 6 going here with Persona 6.
The PS3 version of GTA 5 will be retro in 2033. No, 2036.
Are we going by 20 years?
No, 2033. Because it came out 2013.
It did.
20 years. 20 years.
We're going 20 years on this. Okay, because I've seen people say 15 years.
Hey, my language on this has never changed. I said this back on the Spawncast when I used to show up on that thing. 20 years.
Okay.
So it's going to be retro this year. 20 years.
I feel like, though, if you play a game when you're 10, and then you think about it again when you're 25, you think about it as retro.
Not necessarily.
You don't think so?
Look, if somebody wants to call it retro and it's been 15 years, you're not going to get grief from me.
15.
I tagged 20 years on it.
And
there's a difference between retro and vintage. Vintage is even longer. Vintage should be like in the 40-year area.
Right. Yeah, and I could see that. 20 years or more, huh? Okay. That's fine. I mean, the PS3, the 360, the Wii, they're all going to be considered retro then at the end of this year.
360.
Yeah, but I mean, like all that entire generation, because 360 jumped out in front a year. So, but that entire generation will be retro then by the end of this year.
PS3 will be, and then shortly, a few days later, Wii will be as well.
Yes. Yep. So there you go. Okay. Good stuff.
Yep.
That's all the chats. We are good, Ryan.
Oh, very good. I forgot to mention this, but Sony also kicked off another like 800 games off the store. Shovelware, AI slot games. Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah, those are going out too. All right. That's
I don't think anyone was sad about that. They're like, all right, that makes sense. I mean, we saw those games. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Did I miss one? Bespoke says I missed one. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Bespoke says last one. The deviation announcement. Jason was announced as CCO, and the blog post spoke of them opening the studio together. Haven has 27 job listings. Haven's
job listings they could still shut that bitch down tomorrow, and nobody would know.
Yeah, I mean, we'd find out. Apparently, we find out by LinkedIn when people are like, "Hey, I don't work there anymore." That's how people are finding out about a lot of this stuff. Is that way?
A lot of them have been finding out like the same day fans do.
No, you're right. Yeah,
that's awful.
It happens quick, man. It really does.
Imagine logging in at Twitter and just being like, "Oh, the place I work at just did like 500 and I didn't even know."
Yeah, and unfortunately, Twitter X or whatever isn't exactly nice most times about telling you lost your job. So
then they try to log into Teams or something, and it's invalid credentials. Oh shit.
Well,
Terrible.
Oh, we did almost hit the 3-hour mark. People gotta like this video now. They gotta like the pod. If they especially made it this far in, they gotta like the podcast now.
We rarely get to 3 hours, but sometimes it's just a really busy weeks. All right. Well, John, I mean, if you think we're good here, I could give you a PSX Go and give it to you.
Let's see what you got.
PSX Go and give it to you. This is the topic of the show where we go over something cool, old, unique, and nostalgic about PlayStation history. Teach the kiddos something they didn't know about PlayStation. And in celebration of the PSP's recent North American birthday, March 24th, 2005, which we crossed over not too long ago, I've got an original PSP here, John. PSP 1000. And on top of this unique little handheld, what is that right there?
It's the IR port.
That's the IR sensor on top of the device that officially ain't shit happen with this thing.
Oh,
nobody. I think a lot of people remember the PS Vita's proprietary like accessory port up top, which was never used. But people tend to forget that the PSP had this IR port up top, was not used. I think officially nothing ever used it. However, the modding scene came
I did use it.
Did some pretty cool stuff with it. You could turn your PSP into a universal TV remote.
That's what I did with it.
Yeah. You just point it at the TV, change the channel and everything, right? And there's like so many funny stories that people had back then of like, yeah, I'd take my PSP to school and fucking turn the television on or something.
I actually used that PSP in like a clutch moment where I had custom firmware on it. It was the 1000, and I had one of those. So one of my parents' friends was getting rid of their remember those big old projection TVs had the lights in the back, right?
Yeah.
And so it was. I think it was like might have been the Philips or Panasonic, something like that. So I ended up getting it. I hauled all the way upstairs into my room, and I'm like this teenager who has this massive TV in the room. Like, this is amazing. And you turn it on, and the thing's all misaligned because back then you had to realign the lamps, and the way you did that was you needed the remote to move these they were like little crosses or plus signs, and you had to move. There was like a red one, a green one, and I think just like a white one. You had to move them together so it formed one cross, and the corner ones are different from the center ones. And I didn't have the remote for the thing. And yes, the solution was, well, the PSP might work, and it did.
The PSP might work.
That was the solution. I had a PSP 1000 at the time. It was modded, and I was like, all right, let's make this happen, and it worked.
Yeah. That's one of those quirky things about the PSP. I think most people, like, if you had a PSP 1000, like you know it's there, you saw it. It was never used. They took it out of the 2000, obviously. At that point, like it's gone.
That was back when, in order to mod the thing, you had to make the Pandora's battery. You remember that? Yeah. And so in order to make the Pandora battery, for anyone who doesn't know, you had to cut the battery open, and you had to. You remember doing this?
I never did it, right? But like I knew that was a thing. I didn't do it. Are you crazy?
You had to cut. We did this for a few people, and it was funny because I'll never forget the one person I worked with at GameStop tried to do it there because they had a battery, and they cut it open, and then there's like a certain trace you have to cut, and he cut it, and the thing just sparked at him. Yeah. So I made a Pandora battery, and that's how you do it. How you modded the thing. Those are the early days of the PSP, but that was one of the first things I remember seeing because it had an IR sensor, but the other ones didn't. Was a universal TV app. And it actually worked well. It worked well. I mean, I used the D-pad on the PSP to move the little arrows together, and it was fine.
Oh, this is dead. I was gonna turn it on and put it right up to the audio.
It was the associate at GameStop, the senior game advisor who was there with me that day, who sparked their battery with an X-Acto knife.
Well, it's like those batteries, like the only time they ever go viral now is because, check your PSP batteries. Everyone out there, check your PSP batteries because it's going to bloat. You should do that. But to think that like 20 years ago, people were just like taking X-Acto knives.
You really don't remember that? Oh, no, dude.
I remember that's how you did it. Right. But like hearing you describe it like that, and then very clearly, like what, bozo, what do you think the result's going to be? It's going to burst into flame.
I might have to get a PSP 1000 battery and just make a video showing how we would have to do that.
So the video idea struck you, John. Maybe
dude, I might have to do that. I might have
Yeah.
to do that. Those were the good days too. I wonder if I needed an original battery. I can't remember.
The good days of playing with flammable batteries.
Dude, the old school modding days were crazy. It was so funny how we figured how people figured some of that stuff out is beyond me. But it was the whole point was to be able to turn your PSP on without having to push the switch up. That was the idea. So I think one of the traces that you cut was just that. It was like a switch that would communicate to the PSP if it was being turned on. So when you put the battery in, it automatically turned the PSP on. That was the idea. And if you did it right, it worked. But you also had a battery that was like taped all together. It was really bad looking. But hey,
I think you should do that.
Pandora battery and the magic memory stick. That's what you needed. Yeah. That's what it was called. Yep. And it worked.
There's my blue memory stick Pro Duo Magic Gate.
There it is.
I remember seeing this in like a GameSpot catalog, and the price was like obscene. It was like $100, $150, something crazy like that.
I think mine is an original one, but I don't want to destroy my battery.
Right, gotta buy a another PSP battery.
I gotta see. I think these will work. I mean, people have. Oh wow, is this an actual OEM battery that's on eBay for? Oh, that's like Sony labeled. Never. How real are those?
How real are they?
I mean, this one shows it's in plastic. Like it's sealed. It looks like. It says real in the title. The internet doesn't lie.
Model number 2581-22501. Because this is a launch PSP, so like this is the most genuine like OG battery that it could be.
Model PSP-110 is what's on the battery.
Oh, I'm looking at the number at the very bottom. Whoops.
It's at the top. Sony and then
model
PSP.
PSP 110.
Okay. You know what? It's on the way.
Wait, John. Caution, do not incinerate, do not disassemble, do not short terminals, do not expose to high temp.
See, that sounds like a suggestion. Okay.
No, it says do not incinerate.
I kind of read it like a question. Do not incinerate?
You
know what I mean? Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if that ends up being a counterfeit one when it gets here. This memory card is from China. So I guess we'll roll the dice. No, this is actual like legitimate one right here. It's a 1 gigabyte Magic Gate.
I was about to say if it's from China, anything from China, I'd want to find.
Yeah, this
no, I'd like. How'd you search it? Like PSP battery OEM.
I just searched Sony real PS. And it's like the top one, and it looks like that one's coming out of New York. The PSP memory stick that I found looks like it's somebody's used PSP 1 gigabyte memory stick for $15. Gosh,
because I would probably search PSP battery OEM and then filter by US sellers.
It does say okay. This one is OEM. It's from New York. PSP 1000 battery, and it's PSP 110 at the top.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do. You should do that though. Now I can't get the back of this on. What the?
All right, I will do that. That could be a funny video for how we used to. You know what? The other one I thought of doing was the old method to mod the 360 disk drive. Do you know how we did that? It was
maybe if you just explain it.
It was called the kamikaze method. And what you had to do, and it sounds crazy once again, this is how it was back then. You had a piece of paper and you had to put it down just right on the disk drive. So on the disk drive for the 360 had like a separate daughter board for it. And once you lined it up and everything looked good, you took a drill and drilled through the chip. And then that would trip or like cut a circuit in the chip that you're drilling into that would stop any of the checks that you need to get past in order to flash the disk drive.
That's
it's called the kamikaze method because if you go all the way through, you destroy the system. I
didn't hear that one. No, not for 360.
It was crazy. Yeah, I think I have a kit for that. Maybe I'll do that too.
I mean, the 05 360 memories for me was towels. Definitely towels.
Towels were very popular. The PSP was awesome and great system mod. Still good now to this day. You just don't need to cut your battery open anymore. It literally takes like 15 minutes to mod the thing now.
Oh, I love this guy. Get your game on. Marcus PSP.
Good one. You saw they somebody actually, if you mod your PSP, they got trophies on there now.
I did see that. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Retro achievements.
Pretty neat idea. Pretty neat idea. Toasty says, Herman, I'll do some nasty things for Days Gone 2. I'll take one for the team.
Toasty.
Bend is working on something, Toasty. I don't know what it is, but they're working on something. Okay.
Toasty. Oh my God.
They'll take one for the team.
Damn, son. All right. Settle down now.
Well, I think that's everything. But despite our best efforts to draw out to 3 hours, we were close. 2 hours and 50 minutes.
I think we wrapped it up.
Yeah. We're here for a while. So
oh God.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. There's the kamikaze method is to get the drive into another mode. Thank you. Then you dump the DVD key. And you need a third-party drive. Yep, the flash firmware. But we did have to drill through the chip.
Well, then what the hell were you talking about?
No, that was the idea, was to get the drive into another mode to dump the DVD key. That's what they had to do to get the initial information, was to drill into the chip.
It was still drilling.
Oh yeah, you're still drilling. Oh yeah, it was just what you were getting from it. But that's what they had to do. They had to drill into the chip. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to do it all over again. Hopefully. We'll see if Haven's still around. We'll see you guys next time.